Back to the upside we go here this morning to extend what has been a multiple-day bounce back here for semiconductors specifically, tech in general, but overall a little bit more positive sentiment around the tech sector in general. Rate cut expectations as well. On the back burner, it sounds like this morning, a couple analysts pointing to further delays as far as rate cuts coming this year, potentially. We'll talk about that coming up. Oil back to the upside as well. We've had 3 or 4 days in a row to the downside for oil on de-escalation of global tensions right across the board. So a little bit of a bounce back here this morning for not only oil itself, but some of the oil stocks looking pretty good actually here this morning for CVX, XOM, etc. Coming up next week, we're right into the thick of things. Well, I mean, slowly getting into the thick of things. As far as earnings goes as well, we'll get Netflix. We'll get J&J Intel, and then we wait another week and a half or so to get into the Mag 7 and the bigger tech names. But they're coming fast and furious here.
They are, and we're in the midst of earnings season. Pumped for that, Brendo. A lot to trade, a lot to talk about when we are in midst of earnings season. Big headline yesterday, late in the day, that Taiwan and the United States had struck a trade agreement. The chip names are very strong this morning. Again, whether you're looking at SMH, you're looking at NVIDIA, Intel, some of the RAM names, Micron, SanDisk, all up 5% here to start the morning. More headlines as well coming out of Coinbase. Looks like, you know, the stablecoin legislation, or sorry, the crypto legislation to basically articulate the framework under which they'll be governed is going to be delayed in the Senate. And BBC and YouTube tie up there, not bad.
Yeah.
Nice to see that, you know, YouTube kind of dealing with legacy television a little bit.
Is it that, or is it more legacy television coming to YouTube saying, hey, we want to play too? and yeah, if you missed it, they're going to make content specifically formatted and specifically to target the younger audience on YouTube. So yeah, I think it just says so much for this platform, specifically YouTube, and the reach that it has globally. So yeah, I think it's great. Shout out to Ramin here.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah, she's not in yet, but ASTS,
baby.
One of Ramin's 2026 picks, right back to highs here this morning. Nice government contract for them.
Yeah, she's killing it with that. Well, they can't stop launching, Brendo. Good luck for that company. I was reading a little article yesterday that SpaceX wants to have 10,000 launches per year. I don't even know what that would look like, how much jet fuel or rocket fuel, I mean, that would use. But looks like the launch cadence in general with these space companies is really picking up. And I was just talking to you and everybody else the other day about my experience with Starlink. Just A triple plus, Brendo, in terms of, you know, usability and feel of like being at home.
It's amazing how far that's come. Internet on a plane, or Wi-Fi specifically on a plane, from where it used to be. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I mean, I feel like maybe even a year or 2 years ago.
Horrible.
It was just horrible.
Yeah,
and there was many times you would get on a plane and it wouldn't even be working.
No.
And they would just restart it and restart it and restart it, and it wouldn't even work. So yeah, no,
God bless them.
Absolutely fantastic. Amazon as well, with a minor headline today regarding Saks Fifth Avenue and this bankruptcy or potential bankruptcy. Back to the upside here for Amazon this morning as well. Another one that we talked about earlier in the week with the satellite angle as well.
Kuiper.
They're getting in line to start launching their satellite-based internet service coming up later this year and into 2027. So pretty good week to trade. Lots of volatility, lots of back and forth here, but directionally speaking, we're still kind of chugging along, trying to get through some key levels here as far as the overall market is concerned.
Unless we really get, well, I was going to say, unless we sell off today, it's going to be likely 2 weeks in a row that we end up negative week last week, a couple of negative days this week, but kind of a mixed bag. Not too bad. Feels like it's a wait and see, hold and wait mode.
Yeah, crypto as well, a little bit on the weak side here so far this morning. We'll touch on that coming up as well. Happy Friday, guys. Good morning.
Yeah, happy Friday and good morning, everybody. It's a good morning to be a Dodger fan, I suppose. But
isn't that every morning?
Well, whatever, man. They just have all the money in the world. See, what clearly, and if you don't know what I'm referring to, it's the biggest free agent in baseball, went to the Los Angeles Dodgers because
I didn't even hear that he was reported to go there. Like all of a sudden it was Dodgers. I was like, what?
Does they come out of nowhere?
I thought it was gonna be Mets.
They're like Micron. No, they're not.
No.
But it kind of like it's the amount of money they spend is like the amount of money Micron is making for their shareholders. That's the way to think about it. No, in all seriousness, Talking about the week, because I know the boys were like, the market hasn't really done much. Look at it from the first day of the year. Like there was the crazy down day, obviously on the first trading day of the session, on the second there. But if you look at it since, we essentially have one double bottom on the Nasdaq and like a 4-time tested top at like 26,000. So it's very much range bound. Like the expectation that we get out of here today on a Friday, I'd say pretty low. So we're near the top end of the range. It feels like maybe we would test that here, but you got to look for some like reversion style plays when we get up to that top, or at least ring the Reggie if you're any long trades getting up to it, because very much, and we're not just talking this week, like both the 2 weeks to start the year have been unable to break out of this range. The one real break was kind of to the downside, if anything. So I'd expect a little bit of that kind of inside day if we get up to 26,000. Start looking for some short ideas, but those chips, man, so strong.
Oh, so strong.
Yeah, the chip names have been unbelievable, and now the space names going as well. So,
yeah, we have, and then yesterday you weren't here, but we were shorting silver, so I'm going to try to see if we can short it here today. Yesterday, silver short didn't really work out, although silver wound up red. Today, you're down 3% right here early. Thank you, Randy. Okay, those bananas look like they have some potential. It could be
not overripe.
Not overripe, but maybe not ripe enough. Yeah, welcome everybody. I'm going to go short silver right here again, down 3.5%. Let's see if we can win on this today. Watch out for 81.60. I just want to get involved a little early. The move is starting right now, and if it does break up to VWAP, then we're going to get out of that one. But yeah, it's good to be on a Friday right here, but it's into a long weekend, of course. We talked about Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday, and that should be at least a good day off. We haven't had any of those in a while. No, January seems funny because you go through all these days off leading into the new year, and then you get one right away.
Yeah, it is.
It's the 17th already. Weird. It's like boom.
It works out great for us.
Yeah, my kids are off today, so
because you guys have a PA day today.
They get a 4-day weekend.
It's weird. Like our school, my daughter's school has a PA day on was it PA? Whatever, PD, PA day, whatever. On Monday, so she's off, which works great because I'm off. It's not actually a Canadian holiday. And then yesterday was blind luck because I had an appointment. That's why I had the day off. And then it ended up a snow day. So ended up.
Yeah, it was a big.
Yeah, it was. I'm not even sure what time I would have. Like there was all kinds of delays on transit getting in. So I'm not even sure what time I would have made it in yesterday. And shoveling out was intense. Got a good workout twice though. Because when I came back from my appointment, the plow had finally come through and plowed us to what.
Yeah, that's what happened to us too.
So like I'm parked on the street. And I'm like, okay.
At least your appointment happened. I know I was saying to you, I didn't know if it was going to even happen.
I'm glad.
Because a lot of the city,
was shut down.
Yeah, it was shut down. Like a lot of the city rinks for the hockey and a lot of the organizations. And today was bad getting into work. Everyone's going slow. I was saying, I think I had a better in yesterday than I did today. Everyone's on the road today just going so slow. Yesterday I just had a maniac Uber driver that was just going crazy, and it was great. Yeah, not driving the way I would have been driving, but he was a little insane there. But yeah, it's Friday, so it should be good. I mean, I said yesterday I didn't like how the Nasdaq closed yesterday. Here, if we type in the Qs, we'll just take a look at that real quick. That we closed on the lows yesterday, and I did not like that. Today, obviously, you're getting bumped up. We got some memory names moving. We got some chip news moving today, starting the market to get to the upside right now. Bitcoin just hovering around, but I did not like sort of this action that we had seen right into the close. It was a pretty decent sell-off right into there the last 4 or 5 minutes with the imbalances. We weren't able to get above this level 622 or so on the Qs. And today you're just back up to sort of where we were midday yesterday. So I think I'm still sort of thinking bearish, but I got to, assess some of these stories and try to get this all figured out here before we make our claim here. But yeah, so far so no. I did not die yesterday. No, that was a good one. No dying. I don't know. Jay Bronson's like, but did you die? No, I did not. What's about to die though might be Rivian. We have seen this stock bounce off $17 yesterday. We'll see if it continues to make that move lower there. And then I saw on the look today that Intel, okay, yeah, 48.50, not too much. We ran $50. Obi and I both had that long, but then it didn't really turn out to be so good yesterday. Right off the open, that was okay. Went up to 50, then cracked pretty low, and now we'll wait to see if we can hold some bids there. And it was nice to see NVDA get off the bottom there yesterday, back up to 188 here today. So yeah, it's like. you know, just another day in Stockland, and I didn't even realize that it was Netflix earnings coming up as well. So that's down to $88. So we'll see if
continues to fall.
That can fly. I mean, yesterday that was just a big whoosh right there. We'll have Michael Noss, I believe, on a Friday coming through. So that should be pretty good, unless he's not.
No, I'm
oh, okay.
I'm laughing and Sharif's laughing because see how there's like the screens behind us that we're getting ready for? No, there's like a.
There goes Silver.
Like my 4 screens, I'm trying to move my mouse around. Now we're connected to the ones behind us too, which was new to me this morning. So a few things have changed, so I have to be careful because I don't have complete control. I'm like, I can't get to this one without going around. It's like a bit of a pain.
Mine is.
I'm gonna have to reset
mine,
it up.
I think, is fine.
Well, it's all making things better. Like the whole idea is that we'll be able to swing around and be facing, you know, Sharif and Brendan right now, and then we'd have screens in front of us. Yada yada. Anyways, it's a work in progress, but yeah, a bit of a different control of what I was looking at. No, Netflix. Just to go back to Netflix because that's what I was trying to talk about. I still think we can get down to like that 83 spot, but you've now double bottomed here at 88. So ever since the announcement of this, you know, moving to cash potential offer, it's held one low. So at least for now, this seems like the place to maybe do a little scalp trading. And then WBD, like we were saying every single time, it seems like you can pretty safely still trade this as a short at that 29 level. It just sits in between the 2 deal prices right now. So I think that's probably not changed. I know I backed away from it, but I think if this gets up to like 29 again without there being some kind of a news story, you're probably looking at a decent fade trade. It's a very good range-bound trading stock for obvious reasons.
Just got a little bit more short there on silver as it bumped back up into 60s. So we'll wait to see if this is going to be a good trade or not. Covered a little bit at 40 there for SLV. Maybe we'll go into some scalp mode here today. Yeah, it's Friday, man. I don't know if it's going to be a free-for-all Friday like I thought maybe it was going to be heading in, but yeah, still thinking bearish, I think, here into the day. It's 95.5 for Bitcoin. We saw some movement yesterday in the space as well, and I think it's going to be there's some power names. Vistra was moving around here in the P market as well, and Constellation and whatnot. So yeah, it should be a decent one there. Brendan, we do have Michael Noss today, I believe, unless we hear otherwise. So we'll hear what he's talking about different. I don't even know what is the topic is going to be today. So
energy, maybe.
Yeah,
a lot of volatility
maybe
there.
We'll find out. Let's go back over to the desk and figure out what maybe if we know what Michael's going to be talking about.
The ever exciting commitment of trader data.
Oh.
He brings that every once in a while, but yeah, he's coming up at 8:30. We'll touch in with Mr. Noss and see how his week was. Boeing here, back to the upside this morning as well. I was just checking the economic calendar. There's really not much today. There's one number, New York Fed Services Activity Index, coming up at 8:30. That's basically it. 9:15 manufacturing production as well, but that's basically it. Some Fed speak then closer to 11 a.m. that Adara will keep you posted on. Here's Boeing. As I mentioned, nice day yesterday. Looks like a deal has been struck between SPR union members and Boeing, which is never a bad thing as far as production goes for them.
Yeah, 1,600 all in all, Brendo, of Spirit Aerosystem workers, as you were saying. A tentative collective bargaining agreement reached. It follows that $4.7 billion acquisition of Spirit Aerosystems, which officially closed, by the way, guys, on the 8th of December. I know it's kind of one of those underreported stories. The negotiation for these non-engineering positions, they're referred to in the article as white-collar workers. Good look there, signing an internal alignment with the reduced labor. The proposed contract, though, does include a 20% wage pool over roughly 5 years. It provides a structured path for pay growth, which was something clearly evident in the last collective bargaining agreement between a lot of the factory workers and Boeing, citing the cost of living. So nice to see some stability there. The stocks look good, Brendo.
I was just going to say, what a difference a year makes here to start things off here in January. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, throw out 2 days ago. 5 out of 6, we'll call it, straight to the upside here for Boeing. So that looks pretty good heading into Friday morning. I was just reading a note on UNH as well. Bernstein with a positive reiteration here at Outperform, going to $444 on their price target for United Health. So did have a nice bounce back day yesterday. We broke that low, 330 low, comes right back above it, trying to hold here.
President Trump trying to put money directly in people's pockets, making basically the argument yesterday with respect to healthcare and the issue around the Affordable Health Care Act or Obamacare, that he wants to send payments directly to people to be used according, obviously, to how they like, but basically focusing around giving money to people to buy healthcare. So we'll have to see how that moves the needle for a company like UNH.
Yeah, quick flush out of the gate yesterday, and then again, right back above some key support levels, guys, for United Health.
Yeah, UNH has been moving around, but there's some other names, maybe not directly related, but in a very similar space. And I see Steve Irwin with the super chat. You caught Novo Nordisk today. And then a second super chat, you forgot to mention they have news today. They do. They got approval for a stronger dose of Wegovy, which could raise efficacy. The other good thing that you got going on with Novo, hey, looky. There's the retake of the 200. All it needs to do now is break 61. Did I write that down? I did. I just wrote $61 on my iPad. It's a pretty decent, it's a pretty decent level if you go back to the daily. There's a little overhead resistance here at 63. But still, it'd be the first breakout since it took the 200-period moving average. Unfortunately, and the reason why it's on my iPad but it's not necessarily on the note today is because, well, yeah, we've been sliding down for like $2 all morning long. So that little triple top breakout on Novo might have to wait, which is fine. As long as it can hold on to this range, maybe this is a next week type of play. But I think Novo, they've already gotten some good news with the oral pill, and now they get another piece of positive news, and you're going to hold that 200 for the first time in a very, very long time.
Wow.
You got to zoom way farther back to be able to see it. So yeah, I like Novo, but it's going to have to wait for 61 to break, and that could take a while. Maybe next week.
All right, we're starting to go southbound here on SLV. That's why I was like, what? And that was a pretty good move right there. We just actually got some more shares into that short, and yeah, right back into the lows again of 25. So we actually printed, okay, there, I was gonna say, we actually printed 25 last time, so I'm gonna sit there at 26. And here comes the move right back in right now. So a quick little 50-cent winner right now to start the day on SLV. Let's wait to see what happens when and if. This one, I'm bidding 80. Let's see if it wants to break lower through 80. I really, I'm gonna start to be obsessed with trading this, so just get ready for that. So right now, SLV on the way down. Now 40 cents in the money. We'd like to trade stocks, obviously, that have some action and that are moving around. Lots of volume going through right now on SLV. It doesn't have to wait for 9:30, right? And so that's why if I'm going to sit here and talk to you, fine people, we might as well be in a trade if we like something. So there goes SLV right there too. Okay, I'm bidding $80.05. Hopefully we can grab that. There it is, man. It is our first, and that's another good reason why. It is, man. Daily goal met right here on silver as we're now 70 cents in the money as it's starting to go lower. This could, I mean, look, based on what it did yesterday, this thing could rip my face right back off right there to the upside. So we'll just keep on watching it. But yeah, it is timber right now and not the lumber. This is silver. Heading to the downside. We almost have $1 right here in this. And it's a good thing that we started to trade it. I mean, I was in it real early, right when the show started. We averaged it in, and there it goes. Nice little downside play here. I don't know, news-based or not, I think it's just a break of 80. And you're starting to finally see us getting underneath here, the 200-period moving average. I don't know why or how much this takes to load up here. But, finally starting to go underneath, finally starting to turn. Let's see if this is the day that maybe silver starts to give some up, but down 4% already is pretty good. So I'm going to start to cover a little bit more down here at 80 like we had just done. So yeah, so far so good, but who knows, man. A lot of people love the silver long, so we're going to have to be careful with this right now. I did see that Ford and BYD there were coming up with some sort of a deal. So I'm going to try to talk more about that. A battery partnership between Ford and BYD. Ford's had quite a nice run, but this is like, we've seen this happen, man. We saw Rivian getting absolutely spanked, as we showed you over the last couple weeks, and it looks like Ford is starting to think about doing the same thing, which kind of sucks. But there's the 50-period moving average. I'm in this name, like Ford, but maybe it's giving it up right now. So, okay, yeah, it was a nice battle back. You probably saw Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley yesterday were actually really huge.
What was up with, like, the opening candles were insane. I did see it. It was just, I can't remember a time that I saw something like this on, well, let's get the three. On Morgan. Look, we like Morgan. Like, Morgan and Goldman are both good. I think when we talk about the reasons why those banks were going to be better, had everything to do with trading in the markets and IPOs and the like. But that opening candle was more or less the entirety of the day. Like I can't remember the last time I saw something like this where it just sits there doing absolutely nothing, and then the first look right at 9:30, it's already going, and then you had like $10 on a single push up there in Morgan. This is an all-time, I mean, whatever, it's an all-time high, but I think you look for a consolidative day on the banks. Oddly enough, the bank I'm looking for is SoFi today, because like it's wild. Like, we're talking about the futures being in a range. Look at SoFi's support at $26 for the last 2 weeks. It's been bouncing almost every single day. You had the big reversal into it yesterday. So that was like one of the first things I noticed when I was going through the list of stocks is, well, if I'm expecting an inside day, heck, you've got this one pretty much bouncing well off 26 or 26 quarter or so every single time. Like, most of these bounces are giving you at least the dollar, which for SoFi, like that's a pretty hefty move, right? You're looking 3 or 4% bounces off of that level. So in bank space, I'm kind of looking at SoFi today for that support, but you can't ignore what's going on with Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley. Way too strong, and these are the ones that I think carry the torch for the next little bit. I just don't know that I would want to, buy in up here, wait for them to settle down. Like, such an explosive run yesterday, maybe give it a day or two before thinking about where to get back in. And as always, I'm sure there'll be a spot. There'll be a time for like JP Morgan and some of the others after they settle down from earnings this week where you can maybe jump back in and catch some longs. Yeah, so lots of volatility, certainly in the banks, but it's a kind of a fintech name, a new one that has my eye for sure. And I just heard ONDS, and that stock's a mover. Ondis looks like they've given some guidance, new guidance here in my ear. All I heard is ONDS, and then I heard
something too.
Yeah, I'll have to double check. It's not moving much on the headline, but this is a stock that has a tendency to be very popular, and now it's really starting to go. So all we heard is some revised projections for the next quarter. When we get the actual story, we'll let you guys know. There it is.
There we go.
Or it'll just be that fast. Okay, so that's a good improvement. 175 million from 140, so that's a good 25% increase, and they got a backlog jumping to 65 again, 25% increase there. So that seems bullish for ONDS. Crazy move backside that had yesterday. Nowhere near, it's not near the highs, which is good because it means it's got some room to rally. It was already bouncing off some support here at $13. Might be worth adding to the list, just names that you want to keep track of. It's usually pretty good in volume, and it's been a rocket ship. Consolidations on bullish stocks are not a bad thing. You might think it's been boring, like this one fading back a little bit, but fading back while holding on the line at 13, you can break out the 14 today. You got something going for sure. And we got Adam James abroad, actually. He just sent us a super chat in here. Greetings from cold Miami Beach. Yeah, that's a good one. Vero thoughts. Cold Miami Beach. It's like minus 11 here. And we got, I had at least a foot of snow yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was easily more than a foot of snow, but yeah, it was a bit intense. No, I'm sure you're doing just fine in Miami Beach, regardless of what the weather is. Vero 300% to the upside. Yeah, this one is, you'll find this one on the watch list today, Venus Concept here. It was Madryn Asset Management disclosed a 91% stake, which is a little bit intense. That feels like might as well just hold the whole thing at that point. No, but when you have a small float company like this, or a smaller float company like this, and it gets soaked up, there's nothing available. And when that's the case, you might go absolutely ham. I'm going to double check. That seems ridiculously high. It means there's going to be nothing available. It is squeezing, but just keep in mind, this is a repeat offender. So reverse split, pull back after a gap, not a gap up, but a parabolic move up. So watch this level here, about $7. So you get through 7. That was that first day in April when it broke out. That's where it closed. And then after that, you got like a $9 level as well. So $7 and $9, a couple of key levels. And I just double checked. It is 91%. Madryn Asset Management reports a stake of 91% in these guys.
Yeah. Well,
Wow. Yeah, that can cause a squeeze. Not a lot of shares out there now.
1%, yeah. Okay, a couple more covers here on SLV as we go. So we're back down into 80. I'm still bidding 88 here. Last time it broke, we weren't able to get anything lower. So let's go. I'm bidding 88. We just stopped there at 88 again, but it should bring it back to the downside. And then we don't have to cover too much anymore. The reason why I'm short silver, I was looking short yesterday. It was going long all day. Then finally it gave it up near the end of the day. I just thought we were underneath VWAP, the 50 period, like everything is sort of turning down right here for silver. And, you know, yesterday, this is what we were looking at early, and then it sort of just blew up. So let's see if we can, again, like we just missed our bid, but that's kind of what I'm looking for now. And I just thought that if we could take down, and this is why I only want to get out here for 79.80, and then we can see if the break does happen, we can maybe get to 78, 77 today on SLV. So that's kind of what I'm trying to wait for, but patience is what is necessary now, right there. It was 47, yeah, so it's a pretty, that is very frigid.
Yeah, that would be cold.
That's not a good enough reason for me to move to Miami, but the $1 million would be.
Still better than
all right, TQs, Amazon, JP Morgan, we talked a little bit about that as well. Gold, I heard someone say that maybe gold was a little overdone to the upside. I can't remember which talking head said that, but there goes gold down a little bit today as well. Silver's the one that's heading southbound, but potentially gold with 2 or 3 straight down days there at the highs, maybe just slowing down a bit. So yeah, we'll let's go back to the desk, but it's 8:30 right now. We're coming up to 8:30, and again, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We just got over 550. We want to thank everybody for that. Let's keep the momentum going to the upside on the subscription side of things. So yeah, 47 degrees, Sharif, in Miami. That's not warm enough to get you down there, I don't think, is it?
Probably not.
John, I don't think I've actually been to Miami properly. I went to Fort Lauderdale, which is pretty close, for my cousin's wedding, so we kind of ventured over. Have you been to Miami?
No.
No, I haven't.
I've been to the west side of Florida, but not the East Coast.
Be somewhere I wouldn't mind checking out. But yeah, I just got back from vacation, so we're going to have to wait a little bit.
That's 8 Celsius.
8 Celsius. That's not going to cut it at all.
That's chilly. All right, a couple other things to note. Just reading a note here on Tesla coming through. Gets a 5-week extension in the U.S. probe for full self-driving traffic violations. So that's not going to move anything. As far as Tesla is concerned, I was also just looking up Palantir here. Palantir's been stuck in this choppy kind of back and forth mess for a better part of a week. We're still doing the same thing. Just under 180, 180, 181 has been the top here over the past few days. But Jamie Dimon spotted at Palantir's Washington, D.C. headquarters yesterday. I don't know if that means anything, but...
they be talking about raising money, maybe. Maybe he needs another banker.
Shopping something?
Well, Brendo, I mean, all that we're seeing is President Trump tell everybody, look, we need more weapons, we need them quicker, and we don't want share buybacks, we don't want dividends, we want you reinvesting. So it looks like they're going to be deploying some capital. I'm talking about, of course, the defense names.
Yeah, possibly. But like I said, Palantir hasn't really done much.
No.
In the past couple of sessions here, just chopping around, going sideways. Just a quick recap. For anyone just joining, only number coming up at 8:30 here, New York Fed Services Activity Index. Not going to do anything as far as the market is concerned. 9:15, we get a few industrial and manufacturing prints. Again, probably not a big deal. Some housing data then at 10 o'clock, closer to 11, both Collins and Bowman guys. And then later in the day, Fed's Jefferson comes through as well. That's basically it for the economic calendar today.
Yeah, Fed speak. For sure, but that's all right. I mean, ultimately, like at this point, I think most of the geopolitical stuff is going to be a bigger deal than what the Fed has to say. We know we're not getting a cut, so we have to push forward our expectations a little bit down the line. But if you just jumping right back to Palantir for a quick little second, because nothing's really changed on PLTR the last time we talked about it. Like you are literally hugging this 50 period on the daily, and it's when it can get away or stretch away from that I think it gets a little bit more exciting. That said, when you're in a range like this tight, 74, 80, like this is pretty much exactly what we're showing with SoFi, right? Like if it's in that range and you're a Palantir trader, it's been giving you more tests to the top, so you've been shorting like when it gets to 180, 181, and if we dip down, you like that 74. Like I just prefer SoFi, just a few more tests of that low, but it's that kind of an opportunity that just might be sitting for you there while it's sort of stuck in this type of a range. You're getting much more volatility out of some other defense type or related names that have been able to make some bigger moves. Oh no, I didn't want to go blue ocean on AVAV. No, like this name has been a little bit more, little volatile, but trending back into the upside. I like AVV drone play. Obviously, wouldn't have made it a pick if you didn't like it. But this is one that seems like it's doing a little bit more. So stair step up, higher lows, into now a triple top. This has a chance to do like a local breakout. Whoops. Warning, of course, that this is at the top. These are at the highs already. But it's giving you a nice consolidation up here, maybe looking for a secondary move to try and test the 52-week high on AVAV. Yeah, so Palantir more of a range-bound trade till proven otherwise, but there's lots of other defense-related names which are going to give you more juice.
Yeah, I'm still working on this silver trade, but it's now $1. We just got 61, so we just took about $1 and change right there. Yeah, no. Yesterday we didn't trade Tesla, but that was kind of an interesting name as well. There, you just talked about trying to raise some money and talking to bankers. We heard Elon Musk there as well, trying to figure out what's going on potentially with SpaceX there, and trying to find some bankers and who can sell him the best on the underwriting and all this kind of stuff for the release of that name, and that should be a really exciting time when and if that happens. But I mean, again, like this is a huge move down to the downside there that Tesla sort of engaged with there yesterday. So I'm thinking that this little bunch up right there, this could be a good little spot to think about some Tesla dip buys. It's only $4 from here. Like it's at 440 now, and we're at 437. So, all right, man. Silver trying to bounce, but we've already covered about half of this position. So we'll see if it can get going as well. ASTS on the move, Rocket Lab on the move, as some of these sort of high-flying names continue to kick around. I don't know if SMR was doing anything. We have Michael coming up right now. Yeah, 1930 right now. So SMR doing its own thing. And then SNDK. Shreve asked me yesterday how much SNDK was up on the year. I was like 40% or 35% or something. It's up 72%. And then add another, in like not even 2 weeks, like 10 trading days, like not even 10 trading days. I have to add up how many days there's been. But as Shreve just mentioned there, 2 weeks, SNDK up another 5% here today as well. So, all right, let's go back over to the desk and talk to Brendan and Shreve and Michael Noss.
Hey, there's Rob. Let's bring in Michael Noss. It's Friday morning. We'll talk a little bit about what's moving around to end off the week here. And Mr. Noss, happy Friday. First off, let's touch on this commitment of trader data. And maybe just from a higher standpoint to kick things off, if anyone's hearing that for the first time saying, what the hell are we even talking about? Just give them the rundown here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys, longtime listeners of the show probably remember me waffling on about this for a while because it gave us a great signal for this entire rally, but haven't talked about it in a while. And that's because the government shut down. So the reporting body that gives us this data had also shut down. And you would think when the government opens back up, they would just hit a button and all the data would populate again. But instead, they rolled it out over little tiny increments for a long period of time. So we're just getting this data back. So essentially what happens is whether or not you know it or not, if you've ever traded a futures contract, when you have that position open, your broker reports that data to the CTFC, the Securities Futures Trade Commission, I think. And so that has to happen for everyone. It happens for large speculators, which you got to think are large institutions, hedge funds, all of that. And then it also does it for commercial traders, which are the guys in the know. If you're a commercial trader, you're essentially trading on behalf of a company. Think oil. If you're an oil commercial trader, you're trading on the behalf of like a refiner or an airline or some big company. And then the small speculators, and that would be us, right? The retail trader, the little guys. Now, one thing that's important to note is that quite often, the split here is that you see the red line down there, and that is your large speculators. For every position they have, generally a commercial hedger takes the other side. And it is generally known, and I brought a lot of examples in the past, that the large speculators are often wrong and wrong a lot. You hear this statistic that most hedge funds underperform the market, and this year or last year, a lot of giant hedge funds barely broke even. But these commercial hedgers, they're going to have more information because, again, to go back to the oil producer, they're going to know how many contracts of these to sell, right? They're going to have more data, and they're giving those to these speculators. So speculators are usually wrong, and what we're looking for in this data is kind of where the boat might be too loaded on one side or another. So think about it as kind of short float data for stocks. If a stock is super heavily shorted and that stock is going up, well, we know there's some potential fuel for the fire as these shorts have to cover and get out of their positions and buy. So this chart I brought was kind of where I was pounding the table for so long last year, is that you can see that not only at the bottom of the Liberation Day lows were the average large speculators short. Anything below that, zero line or that thin gray line is a short position, but they were getting more short as the market was ripping. They were just continuing to hammer short and short and short. And I would just come on here and yell to anyone who would listen to say, as long as these guys are shorting, I want to be buying because the market's going up and they're shorting. So there was kind of this perpetual short squeeze going on in the market. Just recently, you can see that line took a sharp tick up. And this is, we just got this data backdated in the last couple of weeks. And ever since, the boat isn't really loaded that much to the short side anymore. The market hasn't gone anywhere because that fuel of short sellers have kind of run out. And that's what I'm looking for. So as we go through these charts, just know I'm looking for extreme long positions or extreme short positions, knowing that these guys are often wrong. So potentially, we want to take the other side if price action lines up in our direction. Next one here that I just want to look at is the euro. So, FX traders, I know there's probably a couple of you out there, but there is kind of lasting impact. Because if you look at the dollar index, it's like 70% euro anyway. So this is essentially what the dollar is doing. And for the first time since the last time the dollar took a bit of a pop, there is kind of more people short the dollar, or in this case, long the euro, than there has been in 2-3 years. So we've started to see the dollar come up, which means that this chart come down just a little bit over the last few days. But with this amount of fuel for the fire, that is interesting to me. We know that, so just looking at this chart, we know there's a lot of people who are still positioned short the dollar, and if this continues to move lower, they're going to have to cover those positions, just like to the long side here, people will have to cover these positions to short side. So dollar is kind of interesting here. Again, we want to pay attention to that because that's going to affect a lot of things like, foreign companies that trade on foreign markets. It might move if the dollar becomes stronger, right? There's gold implications and silver implications and gas implications, things like that. The next one here is just gold. And this one's interesting to me because it just hasn't moved. So we're not seeing people get aggressively more long gold on the way up. We're also not seeing people sell their gold on the way up. There's not a whole lot of data to kind of be gleaned from this, but I just thought it was really interesting that you would expect with these sharp moves that we had in gold in the last year or so, that there would be sharp moves in positioning. Positioning remained just about constant, which leads me to my next chart, which was kind of the point of all of this, because it's what everyone's talking about, and that's silver. So if you just looked at the chart, you would kind of say, well, everybody's long silver at this point. Everyone has to be long silver at this point. Look at this thing go. But looking at the positioning data, people are actually less long silver here than they were when it was at $30. It's tripled, and people are not buying into silver. In fact, they're doing the opposite. So they're selling their silver, and some data that I didn't bring but lines up with this is that we're seeing more inflows to short silver ETFs and ultra short silver ETFs. So that to me could say that for the long run, this run might not be over, and we could continue to move higher. That $100 mark could be a target or even higher, because what I want to see to kind of say, okay, everybody is now involved in this trade, is the positioning to tick up. But we're at 1/3 of the positioning now than we were before. So people have been selling on the way up and not buying, which is it's like super, super interesting to me. So this is kind of a good way to me to look. If I saw this chart spike dramatically, I'd say, okay, now the the guys who are always wrong are participating in the trade as well. Let's, potentially fade them. But that's just not what we're seeing here, which is interesting. Last chart, again, this is the Widowmaker. Me and Neil used to joke about this all the time on the old After Hours show, but might be time for me to take another shot in this. I have a love-hate relationship with natural gas. It either in most cases, I think I'm net positive on it. It's made a lot of money. Also has hit me a number of times. We call it the Widowmaker for a reason. So I just want to always say that if you're trading natural gas, pretend you're trading like a small internet company or an early stage biopharma or something like that, because this thing can just go insane. A couple things though is that we are the large institutions, the guys who are mostly wrong, are as short, if not more short, right now than they were at about $1.90. And you can see that short really come in the last little bit on this down move. And then the yellow line here is just the anchored VWAP from this 2022-2023 high. So there is some anchored VWAP support. If you kind of trace that line back, you can see how well it's acted as support and resistance all throughout with that high. And now it potentially could be acting as support, and we're seeing everybody in the world short this thing. So maybe a little bit of a rally in the natural gas. So I'm going to watch that one closely. But those are the two really kind of actionable ideas that I think could come from this, is potentially natural gas. And there's just some evidence out there that this silver rally might not be over, even though it's like tripled in the last little bit.
Just going back to that real quick, I mean, as you said, it's the one that everyone's been talking about. It's the one that's been just absolutely wild over the past couple of weeks. Is there something that, this is low, but it isn't, at the bottom here, this is low, but it isn't, just absolutely buried at this point. Is there something that would be an instant red flag for you when it comes to the silver trade?
Yeah, a huge spike, like a dramatic spike out of the blue, just to show that everybody in the world is now participating in this trade. That would really get me. The small, I didn't include it because it made the lines a little messy, but the small speculators, if they spike up, because we're just as wrong as usually the big guys, but that was about neutral as well. What I will say, with sentiment data, this is a better version of sentiment data to me, because you can write whatever you want in a survey. This is where people are actually positioned. So, but just like sentiment, I don't care when it's in the middle. Like as you mentioned, it's not really, they're 20,000 contracts net long. It's really not that big of a deal. It's the extremes, or when the directions are diverging, that's where it gets interesting to me, because that's just showing me that everyone's wrong. In this case, it's not I want to take action based off the commitment traders data. To me, it was just fascinating that I expected, as price went up, these contracts would get long as well. So it means that there's still a lot of short in the kind of system that has to get rid of it. So if that spiked, and then all of a sudden that would tell me that the shorts have capitulated and they're finally out, maybe that would be the sign that goes, okay, maybe this rally's done for at least a little bit. And
again, just to sum this up, this is not something that you're going to go execute a trade on per se today, but something that, if you're already seeing two or three things pointing in one direction, you can also, add this as another catalyst or another reason to be one way or the other.
Yeah, and it's like a high short float stock. Use AMC, for example, right? The AMC was hugely heavily shorted, but just hitting new lows all the time. So the shorts were winning. So there's no, they don't need to cover. There's no catalyst that, these people are running. And you see it all the time. If you actually look at the stocks that are the most shorted, they're usually the worst stocks. So there's not generally these short squeeze that just come out of the blue. But let's say you're monitoring a stock that you like, and it's heavily shorted, and they have some sort of news catalyst, and then the price starts to move. Well, that price moving could start to generate a short covering rally that could generate more shorts to cover, and so on and so forth, and create a squeeze. So it's the same thing. So the natural gas futures, for example, we're at support, everybody's short, but if we just tank and move lower, then those shorts were right. So there's no money to be made there. What I want to see is kind of a swift bounce or some sort of news reaction that really gets natural gas going. And it just kind of shows me that there is that fuel to the fire that could push this thing up if price starts moving it anyway, right? So yeah, the best way to look at it is just the same way as a heavily shorted stock.
If anybody wants to, see this maybe more detailed or get more data on other instruments, is there a place that we can send them to find this?
Yeah, the beauty of it is that this is free and publicly available. It's the government puts it out. Every broker by law has to report their net positioning to the government, and then the government puts them all together, and then once a week on the weekend releases them. TradingView, this was a free indicator on TradingView. I know FinViz has it for free. Barchart.com has it for free. But yeah, it's a because it's government data and because it's free data, you can find it on a lot of platforms out there.
From great stuff, thanks for that. Just from a market standpoint here, heading into bigger names on the earnings calendar going into the next couple of weeks here, what's your overall take as far as where we're at?
I'm not happy with what the banks did so far. It could just be that the banks have been doing so amazingly. Like I've been on here talking about financials breaking out, making new highs, and that's great. But I always look at it is, the cool, interesting things are space and robotics and AI. But when you're starting a new company, especially a lot of these companies that aren't making money yet, they get their money from the banks. So if the banks are doing very well, that really bodes well for some of these smaller kind of tech names and AI and all of this. But the banks struggled quite a bit. Most of the banks actually sold, and not the consumer-facing ones, so it shows the consumer is still strong, but a lot of the ones that focus on kind of institutional trading, they suffered a bit, the JP Morgan and the Goldman Sachs and that type of thing. So that to me is a little bit worrisome. So I think kind of I shift, that's the first kind of crack that I see. That and, like we talked about with the dollar, that could be interesting as well. If the dollar starts to rally, that could be problematic for stocks. So there's a couple cracks showing. So I really think that all we care about now is the big capital expender guys, right? NVIDIA doesn't matter anymore because they report so late that we have all of their clients report before they do. So I'm really focused on the guys who are giving NVIDIA all the money. So your Microsofts and your Oracles and that kind of thing.
Meanwhile, we're sitting here. I just brought up the VIX chart off screen here. It's trying to put in a green candle today. That's BlackRock. That's not it. Trying to put in a green candle, but still 15 and a half. Pushing towards 16 on the VIX. So volatility still very, very low. Michael Noss, thanks for this. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you Monday.
Yeah, have a great weekend.
Thanks as always, Michael. Hope you have a fantastic weekend and. Always. Well, we got a lot of snow. I'm sure you must have. Out east they get just as much, if not more, when it does hit hard. But we call it and when we say the widowmaker for nat gas, as Michael was saying, this isn't even something. It was literally called that. Like when I started trading, people would always just sort of throw that out there because it was typically incredibly difficult to profitably trade. And I think that's because people might have a long bias, and a lot of times. Like when this trends down, and it really trends down. You can look at it at UNG, the ETF, it's probably how most people here, like real trading would probably trade it. And when it reverses, yeah, you might have some opportunities, but the downtrend is prolific right now in UNG. So it's worth watching for those opportunities. Just be careful. Like it's the kind of thing where you get on the wrong side of like a commodity, don't average down. Like that kind of a thing, especially when you're swinging it, because when this goes down, it goes down for a while, and it's been they call it the widowmaker for a reason, because when you think you got the bottom, it'll show you a little bit of something for sure. Yeah, definitely worth watching. I would venture to guess, and this is not a guess, I'm like 99% sure of this, that we probably have 10 times more people that would be looking at say like silver or metals, then we'll be looking at nat gas in the first place. But there are, there are some options out there when it comes to ETFs that you can look at, oil, UNG, or examples.
Yeah, I heard Michael there. He was talking obviously a little bit about silver there and talking how people are less long right now. I don't know if that means they're going to start to step in and start to buy at some point here. But yeah, some interesting talk there, different studies. I mean, if you had any questions about any of that, Michael's often in the chat, or you can go find him on X as well. But I was just starting to cover a little bit more down there near that 79.50 area, right where yesterday's. I mean, look at this is yesterday in the AM. This is why we actually were trying to go short as well yesterday. And this sort of gave us that signal. And then we were going short up into here before getting blown out to the upside. Silver didn't turn out to be that bad yesterday after all. But that little top there sort of matched the past support area. Now we're matching a past support bid area. That's, sorry, resistance, that's support. So yeah, start to cover around here, and then we're going to stop out if it breaks through 81, trying to average this back in and get a little more shares if we do eventually take VWAP. But silver's on the way back to the upside as well. So yeah, so far so good here for the silver short, but yeah, getting blown out to the upside a little bit right now on SLV. So thanks, Michael, for coming up and giving us a whole bunch of new ideas to look at and some different things to study over the weekend. Yeah, I mean, RKLB, this is a name that just keeps on going, right? I mean, the space game is not stopping anytime soon, it seems like anyways right now. You have the rocket ship, yeah. That's eventually where they're going, I guess, right? To the moon.
And beyond.
And beyond. Let's hope for and beyond at this point.
Oh, the book of all.
We got to go to the moon for the first time still.
It was crazy you just said the moon. Rocket Lab has nothing to do with the moon, but I'm not making it up. The sci-fi novel Sunstorm that I'm doing right now.
Yeah, that's a moon one.
Book 2, and currently, literally where I left off, there's scientists talking on the moon at a moon base.
Oh wow! Okay.
Super cool.
So
About the end of the world.
That's a pretty timely thing there.
No, it is. No, but in all seriousness, both ASTS and Rocket Labs are going to be on the watch list today. They got hey, it was Morgan Stanley upgrade. Why not? Up for another 3 points today. This is more than a double from the November lows. Just an absolute, I was about to say rocket ship again. No, just an absolute banger.
You can't stop saying rocket ships. I mean, this is the thing. But this is the thing about trading momentum, trading what's hot. I had a friend of mine that I haven't heard from in 10 years. It was a former neighbor of mine, messaged me out of the blue, and he's asking about crypto. And I'm like, bro, you missed the boat, dude. He's like, how are we going to make money in crypto? I'm like, the money's already been made in crypto. Bruh. Yeah, exactly. I was like, bruh. And I said, and I basically... Yeah, I heard that in the ear there. So, and I just told him, I actually mentioned Rocket Lab, mentioned to him, I said, you got to think about what the next thing is, because there's so much money. Rocket Lab's up 4,000, or was it ASTS? I know one of them was up 4,000% in a year. So they were $1. It might have been even Rocket Lab.
No, Rocket Labs was $1. It was this was a almost penny stock.
You know, so it's like, you know, you go back and you're like, okay, if you want to invest, that's one thing. You know, there's names to invest in, and you could take an investable position in Rocket Lab right now, but you're not going to get like super rich off of this. It's already had that kind of a move.
Exactly.
Right? So that's what I was sort of suggesting. We got to think about what's next. Like you got, I mean, you had that story that you guys were in, not QBTS, under $1, and it went to 20 or 18 or whatever.
Off a random comment that my wife heard while she was talking to some like industry people at a data conference, and I was like, I don't know any stocks that are going to win in quantum, but I think it's going to be a bit of a play. She's like, well, I heard about this one. I'm like, oh, really? What do you know about it? I'm like, I don't know.
Send her to more conferences.
People thought it was cool. I'm like, okay, we'll buy that one then. There was no science behind it, and I was prepared to lose. We were prepared to lose it all. It was $1.14.
I like that.
No, I'm being dead serious. Like the money put into it was like, if it goes to zero, I'm not freaking out about it. Like you don't get Rocket Labs at $1 or QBT, none of those. If you do that, you know what you're getting into. That's risking everything to try to get a big win, right? So to be realistic about it.
We do want to mention to everybody about PDS Biotechnology over there on the Nasdaq at PDSB. They are transforming how the immune system targets and fights cancer with initial focus on HPV-16 positive head and neck cancer. HPV-16 can cause head and neck cancer, and more people are facing these high-risk cancers than ever before. HPV-16 positive head and neck cancers are projected to become the most common type of head and neck cancer in the United States in just a few years. Please, everybody, go learn more at pdsbiotech.com. That is pdsbiotech.com to learn more about this HPV-16 head and neck cancers. Thank you for that, PDS Biotech. So, so interesting plays there. And I think that's another talk right there, right? Try to figure out what the next big move is. And I'm trying to fade silver, as that's been a huge move this year. So that's what I'm looking at right now. But some good talk right there. We do have wild card weekend. So you nervous yet? Is that tomorrow?
Yeah, 4:30.
Not wild card weekend. Sorry, divisional round. There. So,
I mean, look,
it's 4:30. Is
I'm
it?
always nervous. It's 4:30. I
Okay,
think
good.
the Bills match up pretty well, but I mean, you got that, and then Seattle plays the night.
It's another pick'em, so it's going to be a close.
I think
one.
the NFL just wins because with the close action they're getting. Oh my goodness, the betting market's supposed to be loving it. The betting market's definitely loving it, but there was that massive scandal with the NCAA basketball. I don't know if you.
I don't know anything about that.
Oh my goodness,
What is
like
it now?
27 different teams, like 39 players, and point shaving.
Neil.
Scandal, yeah.
Who do you guys, did you guys pick up anybody off the practice squad for receiver?
Well, Samuel should be coming back. So the Bills basically don't have anybody to play wide receiver this week.
Okay, that's what I was asking for.
Effectively. So we have our number one guy, and then we have a dude we were healthy scratch all year, and he's going to have to play a heck of a lot as well. And then we got Brandon Cooks, who's like ancient, and we got him off. He was cut by multiple teams.
He makes
this year.
catches,
Okay.
though.
But he's a good player. It's just that he was cut by multiple teams this year for a reason.
Yeah.
And then our fifth.
Oh, hey.
I'm not sure exactly who the fifth guy that they're going to dress. Think about that. I'm a diehard fan. I'm not even sure at this point who the fifth receiver
You're not
is going
supposed
to
to
be.
even know the fifth receiver. That's why you don't know. You're not supposed to know.
But you know why it doesn't matter?
Exactly. That's the whole thing.
It's like because we've got NVDA at quarterback. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That gives you a lot of wiggle room when you've got the best of the best at quarterback.
Yeah,
Josh Allen.
there's no
That's
doubt
all that's
about
going to
that.
end up mattering for sure. But I did say this, and I will hold true to it, that we don't have Brian coming on until Tuesday. So I might, look, if the Bills lose, I already said I would wear Broncos gear on the broadcast. I'll flash it on Monday, but when Brian's on, I'll wear it on Tuesday. Brian Shannon's he's from the region. He's not actually in physically. I don't know if he's.
No, I think he lives in Colorado, but
He's in Colorado. I don't think he's in Denver. But either way, if the Bills lose, you'll see me in some Broncos gear next week.
All right, that's
They're not gonna lose.
I like the orange, so we'll see how that pairs out. Should be a good one there. All right, it's 8:56. We do have our rundown coming up. Make sure you do grab our watch list. The link is in description as well. I'm getting ready to short a little bit more silver, but if this does pop higher, I'm out of more than half. I have less than half left, and silver has made a move right back up. So, I'm not going to just be sitting here shorting this thing like crazy. If it does break through $81, I'm going to get out. That was sort of the top there, right into there. So we'll take another fill in and around VWAP. I'm waiting at $80.75. And, shorting this thing, we learned our lesson yesterday, man. It just kept on going. We were able to catch some dips, some moves higher and then grab the dip. But overall, man, we didn't have the real short on until it made its way up to 84.50. So, we got to let this thing settle down at some point and give us a range. Right now, it's not necessarily doing that, but it did make a way all the way back to VWAP. Take a little bit more short and then watch out for $81. Could be a choppy day today. Let's go find out what we're going to be trading and what's on our watch. I think Sharif's going to do a little bit of a market rundown potentially. So let's go back over to the desk.
A couple things just before we do that.
Yep.
I was just reading this note. I don't even know if this means anything. Probably not. But President Trump has bought at least $50 million in municipal and corporate bonds through to the end of December, including debt issued by Netflix, CoreWeave, General Motors, Boeing, Occidental, and United Rentals, which is URI. But that's from a White House disclosure.
Munis, huh?
Yeah.
I didn't think that President Trump would be dabbling in munis, but there you go.
But I mean, none of the stocks moving on that. But I've never seen that before.
There's got to be a strategic purpose for that. I'd like to know a little bit more about it. Good call on that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, all right, guys. We 692.25. That is where we closed out on the SPY yesterday. We closed out. Yeah, we tried to get through that 695 area, but as you can see, really 695, as we spoke about yesterday, was that clear area of resistance. We're at 693 1/3 right now. We're up about 0.15. So here's the deal. The low from yesterday was 691 1/4. We're going to say 691 1/4 as the first level of support. If we start trending up, and it looks like we're starting the day green a little bit here, 695 first level of resistance. If we really get going, and we're going to close out the week quite strong, we're looking at that 696 area that we double topped on back on the 12th as resistance number 2.
All right, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab that. Absolutely free for you. Link is below in the description. All you need is an email address to sign up for the watch list. Again, no cost whatsoever. Has everything on it that's moving around in the pre-market every single day, including memory stocks. Top of the list here this morning. Once again, back to the upside 2 days in a row. Trying to bounce. That's Micron, but I mean, we can look at SanDisk. We can look at a number of these, all looking very similar. After a bit of a pause in this rally, it looks like we're back head steam.
As Sean was mentioning in the morning, SanDisk up some odd 75% within the span of 2, calendar weeks here in the year. Let's talk a little bit about Micron, because they broke ground yesterday on their massive new fabrication complex in New York State. It's part of a multi-decade investment of up to $100 billion, representing, guys, the largest private investment in the history of the state of New York. That's not small. Could eventually house up to about 4 advanced fabs, and they're going to focus on, what Micron does, DRAM and NAND. Wall Street really likes this. You have multiple upgrades recently. Barclays, overweight from 275 to 450. Wells Fargo, overweight from 335 to 410. Citigroup, buy from 330 to 385. And let's expect, Brendo, tight DRAM and NAND supply to continue into this year, much like we had last year.
Every once in a while, I like to just go out to weekly charts to remind myself how insane these things are. So if you haven't done so yet, make sure you do that today. That's SanDisk on a weekly chart, still absolutely parabolic. Micron looking very similar, guys, but a bit of a tail forming here at both top ends.
Yeah, the good thing for Micron, at least, would be that it broke the top of the range. But this morning, there's been pretty much nothing but selling this gap up. And if you look at the majority of yesterday, it was selling. The day before that was selling, and then selling intramarket. So while it's holding all these higher lows, you've effectively, during the open session, you've had sellers in control 3 days in a row. And all the stock has done is go up. So it's just like it's gapping up overnight, and we're getting all this sell action intraday. The good news, as I was saying, is you're above this prior, the prior high here, resistance at 346, 347. So if it dips, I feel like it's already done like $7 worth of reversion. So there's really not that much far for it to go to test pre-market, or not pre-market, of yesterday's highs, prior highs in there. That's the spot I'd be looking for. But it's a bizarre one, because all of the strength seemingly is just not intraday in any of these stocks. And again, SNDK, sort of the same thing. Not much in terms of buy action outside of sideways action during the day, like a chop fest, and then we get gaps up. So I think you can treat these as a little bit range bound or just trend trade intraday. I'm going to be focused on Intel lost that 50 level. I'm going to like that a little bit more, and I have eyeballs on NVIDIA as well. NVIDIA's got a 187 key level here that I think we could play off of. If it loses it, I think you got way underneath as well. If we can bounce off that, I think it's a good place to look for some action on NVIDIA. And I also like Intel to maybe show a bit of a head and shoulders pattern. But yeah, disappointing action. If you've been trying to work the long on either one of those names, you've been far better off holding it as opposed to trying to intraday trade the long on SNDK or Micron.
Yeah, we have insider buying here with Micron today. Purchased, Director Mark Liu purchased 23,000 shares. That's a pretty good one, man. $8 million worth of Micron. I mean, that's not a small amount, that's for sure. We were all saying, oh my God, when Cook bought shares of Nike. This is 8 million earlier this week as well. So if everyone on the inside, not everyone, but if this one director on the inside here is feeling good about it, like $8 million worth up here, then yeah, I mean, someone knows something. And we do have, of course, U.S. Representative John Molnar, I guess, opined a letter there as well, talking about how there, and we've already talked about this, but just the demand is there for these RAM chips. And someone said that they sent in their little disc to PSA to get evaluated. That was pretty fun to see that, which is just a joke. But yeah, Micron upside there. I think there's more to go. I mean, it feels like we just broke through again another level where we sort of finally barcoded there, then ripped. Like, I remember talking about 260 being the high. Well, that's not even close. Now you're at 360. So yeah, I think Micron's along. It's up again another 5% today. We always say play back to the 200 period moving average. So right now that's at 348. That's probably pretty darn close to where it's going to be when we open up. So 348 to 349. Watch out for the big 350 psychological level as well. It's all blue skies on the chart. So I don't, you know, where we can go from here is higher. And then if you just come back to this weekly support right there, I mean, it could be 348. So if just come back to the chart quickly, Andre, and then we'll get away. But yeah, right there. So we've broken through. It was a top. It was a top. It was a top. And now hopefully, which turned resistance, now turns into support. So 348 or so for our friend Micron. And I'm always going to go back to this because it's the only active trade I have on right now. We did short a little bit more. We mentioned that we were going to go short there on VWAP. Comes back out. We get some out to 21 period moving average. Silver looks like it's sort of gearing up a little bit here to maybe make a run right off the open. So I'm not exactly. I was hoping that the move would continue down. I don't see any Amex stocks on here. SOX S is right there. Zone, and then SGOV is just government bonds, right? We just talked about municipal. Yeah, sorry, T-bill. So, yeah, not much going on there as far as silver on the imbalance locator. So we're
tonight though is Walmart.
What is Walmart?
Tonight's Walmart to the Nasdaq 100.
Oh, to the Nasdaq 100. I was going to say, it can't be earnings on a Friday,
No,
but
tonight. Tonight.
Yeah, that could be a good one. Let's talk about Walmart. Is it on going to be on the list? No, but we'll get over that. Let's run through this. But yeah, Walmart today should be a good trade. Target's been on fire. Target's at 112 right now, by the way, and yeah, it's where Target dwells for now. Anyways, all right, let's go back over chip. Okay, well, I know you talked about NVIDIA and all that, but let's go back over, talk about some chip strength, and then we'll get through this list.
Of Riot, there's a deal with AMD. It looks like Riot Platforms climbing 5% on data center lease deal with AMD. So speaking of chips here, RIOT teaming up with AMD.
I'm liking this. A lot of these former miners kind of trying to adjust their mode and get into the data center space. Not a bad look.
I mean, that was IREN. I mentioned that the other day. I mean, they started off in the crypto space and now, are perfectly positioned for the power generation side of.
And there's a lot of overlap, Brendo, between the two businesses. They're using GPUs. They've got huge swaths of space, very energy heavy. So a lot to overlap with. All right, guys, I'm going to take the Taiwan the Taiwan trade deal announced yesterday by President Trump. So the U.S. and Taiwan finalized a major trade deal, cutting tariffs on a wide range of Taiwanese exports. But there is here a very strong focus on semiconductors and chip-making equipment. Washington trying to balance closer cooperations with Taipei without aggravating the Chinese ahead, of course, of President Trump and President Xi's meeting in April. The tariffs are going to drop from 20 to 15%, Brendo, but there's really going to be a lot of incentives for companies like TSMC, who's already spending a lot of money in the United States. Their actually tariffs may actually be brought either much lower or zero. So, certain products are going to get zero commitment anyway. In exchange for this, though, Taiwan is going to invest about $250 billion in the U.S. $100 billion is already committed by Taiwan Semi back in 25, but they're also going to guarantee another $250 billion in credit. So good look there. And I want just to mention quickly here, Intel getting the nod today as well from, I believe, let's just see where it is over here. I think it's right after Coinbase. Just allow me, Intel Jeffries raising the price target there from 40 to 45, but keeping it as a hold, basically saying it's been a good narrative for Intel so far, but they don't really know how they're going to monetize AI like the likes of AMD and NVIDIA are.
They'll figure it out.
Yeah, hopefully.
They'll figure it out, don't worry. RIOT, guys, better part of $2 move here now to the upside. We're coming off the highs, but decent volume behind that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Riot, you know what? I think I was ready to talk about like chips there for a quick little second, but this Riot move, I wouldn't overreact to this. I was just sort of saying like, well, how profitable is this going to be for them at the end of the day? Like, it's one thing to get this headline. I think the pivot makes sense, no questions asked. Certainly can be positive, and we're already up a decent amount right into Wednesday's high of $18. You can already see it start to back off. So can it hold on to the prior high, like 17.3? Like, if you can get back and hold on to this, I think that's a little bit more productive than chasing the move here on Riot. Just the other thing to remember is, it was the other day where when we looked at some of these pivots on the mining companies, when they get these bounces for other headlines, and then we had a big bounce in Bitcoin a few sessions ago, and then some of these names didn't go as much because they had already had some alternative headlines give them moves. So keep that in the back of your mind. So some of this rally, I think, these 3 days was mostly Bitcoin related. So this is kind of like a natural high. If Bitcoin were to fade for some reason today, just remember that that 18 level might correspond with some resistance out there on BTC at some of these tops. So yes, you've got a story going on here that is not related to crypto, but you do have to keep in the back of your mind, hey, that recent high in Bitcoin corresponds with this 18. If we have a bad day, this might be a dangerous one to try to play at the highs.
Yeah, I was seeing that same story there, and I thought, you know, it would have been a good sign for AMD, but there's not really a bump up on that news there for advanced micro devices. But yeah, what a great stock that's been, man. We said how this one has been sort of chilling out between the tops of 225 and the bottoms of 200. While that 200 bottom was quite amazing, and now you're up about 12 or 13% off of that low and trying to break out now. So yeah, I'd say it's all good with this. I have NVIDIA written down. The sticky note is now out. You guys can go find that one. I have a 190 long break written down for NVIDIA. It's the only long that, I mean, a SoFi dip, if that happens, I don't mind it. But what about just this NVIDIA break long through 190 right here? It's been sort of the weekly top, and it was just made yesterday, so it's not like it's been, you know, so interesting or anything right there. But right into there, if we can come up and look at 190, we saw yesterday the break work for 10 minutes on Intel. I just think that NVIDIA could help create a little bit of a bump here for us and get that through. So you're trying to bounce off the 50 period right now. NVIDIA really off the bottom now. We've been waiting for a minute to get this going. TSM yesterday really justified the space with the semiconductors. I mean, if they can't keep enough semiconductors going, their biggest customer is NVIDIA. So what does that tell you about the demand story? And we saw TSM yesterday, although it, again, like didn't trade that well at all. Yesterday, going out really at the lows and almost went out where we opened up at. So TSM did have a great long yesterday up to 350, but now it's down back into 345. I like the space. I like the name, and if they're going to show strength yesterday, as they said, 38% year-over-year growth expected on the demand side for the semiconductors. NVIDIA is their largest client. I am, willing to go long on that 190 break. We just got to make sure it's right. So, yeah, I got a little bit of a go on that here today. So let's see if NVIDIA can do that. Yesterday we really got going right off the open there. We went from 185.50, up to 189. So that's a $4 move there before it was even 20 minutes in. So if we can get some sort of an action on this market, which now, not looking so short anymore, right? You're above VWAP. You're starting to get going a little bit. Let's see if NVIDIA can sort of help, propel this chip name or the chip space even further. So good news from AMD today with a new signed deal. Good action from yesterday. AMD breaking out and NVIDIA finally going. I like what we're seeing here, and let's see if NVIDIA can break through 190 with a bottom of 187. I mean, that's what I had targeted right there, 186, 187 for a low in case we get somewhere near there. All right, so I didn't average into silver there. We just took a little bit at VWAP. It's going too much, so I don't want to turn this thing nasty. So if this breaks 81, we're out of SLV here, guys.
On to ASTS, back to the downside right now, but nice pop after the close last night on that headline. Government contracts, never a bad thing.
I was telling Ram, I'm like, hey, check out ASTS, and I think she, thought that I was implying that it was down, so she was a little worried. But I think she knows now, Brendo. She's doing well. All right, let's talk about this one. So AST Space Mobile are up after the company was named as an eligible vendor for the U.S. Missile Defense Agency SHIELD program. The selection doesn't actually guarantee contracts. It allows AST to bid on a potential $151 billion pool of defense-related work. So a lot of money there to be passed around. But Bulls see SHIELD eligibility as a possible stepping stone towards involvement in the Golden Dome, an air and missile defense system, of course, announced by President Trump, and it could include this country as well in Canada. AST, though, their main goal here, if you don't know too much about the company, they are looking to build the first global cellular broadband network in space, kind of deliver voice, data, video directly to people on their cell phones without any upgrades. But they've got a lot of stiff competition, as we know. SpaceX Starlink, Amazon's Kuiper project, and Apple-backed Global Star, Brendo, all throwing their hat into that ring.
A few other details just popping up here for this RIOT deal. Riot saying 10-year deals worth $311 million with an expansion possibility up to $1 billion plus AMD options for more than 75 megawatts going forward, up to 100 million megawatts after that. So 311 million over 10 years. I mean, nothing 30 plus a year for a company like Riot, guys. So one to watch today, guys. Thoughts on ASTS?
Yeah, I was just double checking. I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot for a $6 billion company for Riot, like 31 million a year. Yeah. Oh, okay. So I mean, like, it puts it in perspective. Like I said, just keep in mind that 18 high and what Bitcoin is doing for Riot. Maybe not overreact to that news. That'd be my 2 cents there. ASTS. Look, whether or not this ends up being firm and they have something with the potential, this has been a rocket anyways. You've got to factor. Oh, that's right. I just moved to Riot. I had this up a second ago. One thing that you want to factor in for them is they're an 18% short float on ASTS. These aren't always 100% accurate, but it'll be in the double digits either way. So it's a pretty decent short float. It has been an uptrend anyways. But much like, and we were showing Micron earlier, we kind of lost the bid a little bit here. So this puts me in the mode of, all right, if it's a long, then I really got to think about into that prior high. If we're not going to be able to hold on, and that's going to be, it's like 102 to 104 is the spot. Because if we're not going to hold on to VWAP, which we're underneath it and trending down, then it's about looking for a bit of a reversion. Now, sometimes you get a crazy spike down, like yesterday would be an example, which just spiked $2, immediately closes higher, then starts holding VWAP, and usually I look for longs like this, where like it holds the VWAP and then breaks away, so you're long. That took about 15 minutes yesterday to show you a first entry. Because it's well underneath VWAP, it might take a little bit longer than that to look for some kind of a mean reversion in ASTS. But I'm kind of expecting a little continuation of the dip and then want to stay on trend with this. So willing to be patient with ASTS. If it ends up dumping in the first 15 minutes, I can wait for it to start forming a setup if it's not going to hold this volume weighted average price. So wait for the prior high or wait for it to establish VWAP, and then I'm going to try to jump in. To ASTS, I'd like this over Rocket Lab just based on, it's more the price action and more the fact that I expect more volatility out of ASTS than Rocket Lab today. That's the better distinction.
Yeah, I was going to say, a name that maybe has not gone, like I have no idea what any of these companies do realistically, but Virgin Galactic right here, I mean, it's just getting another one of these names, man, one of the original space names, hence why they have this symbol, but it's low. Its 52-week low is $2.30. So you're not even too far away, and we know that it has the ability to do these kind of moves. And right now you're back down to $3, so you're near a low there. Do some research, but find out if SPCE has a place in your portfolio, because this name could get going. I don't know. We have to wait to see, but if it does dip into this like 270, 280 area, then you could just put a stop sort of breaking through $2. Now, this is not a play that you're going to, load your account with or anything like that, but could be something. I mean, even if you get this 250 area, give yourselves that 10 or 15% worth of drawdown only to, try to grab something up here again near 450 and change again. Thank you, Randy. So SPCE Virgin Galactic could be something there. We don't talk about it enough, and that's kind of like what we're talking about on the show. No one heard of ASTS or Rocket Lab, year and a half ago or something or whatever. I have to go back to see the charts, but this could be another one. Space, Virgin Galactic. We'll see if it can get going. And I told you, I'm playing them all with a very, very simple strategy, and that is the Autonomous Technology and Robotics ETF, brought to you by ARC. So Kathy Wood and everybody, this name just keeps on climbing higher, giving me exposure to everything. Its largest holding is Tesla, so do your due diligence. But yeah, this got me into Rocket Labs, AV, everything. And we're in this around this 110 mark. So it's been a good one. Obviously, if I was in, any of the other names from December, they would be up 50%, not 15% or whatever. But good move up there for ARCQ, and just a little bit of a risk situation there. We get them all instead of just one. And I told you, I have no idea what they all do, so we'll put our money into that. All right, man, 9:20, lots to go. Yeah,
Before we go back to this, there's a little bit of a discussion about MLK Day on Monday, and so just to reiterate, because a few people in the chat have mentioned it, it is a U.S. holiday on Monday. That's MLK. So we, Trader TV Live, we observe U.S. holidays. Someone's like, yeah, you guys should just come on and yap about Toronto stocks. Well, you got to take time off at some point. But the other thing is, trust me when I tell you this, you've been trading long enough, when the US markets are closed, all the other markets act like it's a holiday too. Like, Toronto is open, but believe me when I tell you, ain't much happening on it when the US markets are closed. That's just how it is. You can want the US not to be the big daddy, and when it comes to capital markets, but it is what it is. So yeah, Monday's a holiday, so you have a long weekend. Sometimes you can create a little bit of extra volatility, especially at the end of the day, because we'll see. And then of course, it being a Friday, you have something like index actions, which we'll talk about. We just mentioned the riot news, which was oddly not crypto related in particular, but we can talk about Bitcoin or crypto in general. Good rally, but is it a fade today?
Working on a couple of different angles for that, but possibly. I mean, we've had a couple of days back to the downside here. Overall, we're still stuck in a range. I mentioned this off the top of the show. It's been a little bit disconnected as far as the equity back and forth goes, but maybe we start to see a little bit of support here once again.
Hopefully, and maybe taking out 100,000, which is going to be clearly an area of resistance. But there was a little bit of a setback for the crypto bulls yesterday. U.S. senators, they signaled that they will continue pursuing that comprehensive crypto market structure bill that they were supposed to vote on yesterday, which is, being put in front of the banking committee there. The bill is intended to give the crypto industry that, that long-sought rules of the road, kind of clarifying which regulatory body is going to be governing them. The passage was already uncertain before the delay, reflecting months of tensions between both parties on the other side of the aisle. But CEO of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, he publicly opposed the latest draft. He cited multiple concerns that had emerged in the last-minute writing. The key objections here, Brendo, were the reduced role for the CFTC and how it limits consumer rewards programs. Specifically, what we're talking about here is one of the most contentious issues is whether crypto platforms can offer interest-like rewards on stablecoins. Banks argued against this. They said, look, this could trigger a massive shift of deposits from traditional banking into crypto. I don't know why that would be bad. Federal Reserve-linked analysis suggests the risk also of a credit squeeze ranging from hundreds of billions to as much of 1.2 trillion. The American Bankers Association very much against this. They want the money to stay put right where it is in centralized finance. They don't want it working over to decentralized finance, aka these crypto names.
We'll see if there is a test, at least, of this 100,000 coming up either today or maybe going into next week. You and I were talking about MindMed off camera before we came back over here. I went to pull up the new symbol and I still typed in MNMD just because it's habit.
Too.
So, what is the new symbol here?
Yeah,
if anyone's looking for it, because it was effective. I was just reading it. It was effective as of yesterday. So.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I panicked. Right? I'm like, where's my money? Right? Where's my money? Yeah. No, but DFTX, guys, is a new name for MindMed. So this is the chart on MindMed. It's seen better days. Obviously, it's been around to $21. But hey, look at it, man. They're stepping up.
If anyone has the same experience this morning, you look at your account and you're like, where the hell are my MindMed shares? It's now DFTX, guys, for MindMed. Yeah.
I just figured being down 95% already was probably fine enough. I just figured it was something else over there.
Well, do we all get? Anyways,
we just want to remind everybody that, of course, Neil and I will spend as much time, trying to look at the chat as possible. Keep your comments. I know there's been some political stuff in there this morning, but it is, definitely a manned chat. We're looking at it. We're trying to find the best comments, put them straight there on the screen, and address them. Right. So we can't get every single look at this stock or what's your opinion on that, because we have a rundown and we are trying to cover everything for everybody all at once, but we are going to miss some stuff, and we want to thank everybody for sticking with us. The midday show will do a lot of small cap stuff, and things are a little slower then, and there's not as much on schedule as sort of we are right now, but stick with us, man. We're going to cover as much as we can in as little time as we have in between some of our rundown and whatnot. So we do want to appreciate, once again, everybody, just stick with us, keep your comments in the chat, and honestly, let's try to keep it like as clean as possible. Everybody can have as many opinions as they want, but let's be respectful of each other. I think that's probably the right
ultimately, everyone's just here. Everyone's here to learn more and hopefully gain something out of the market experience, where you could be swing trading, long-term investing, or maybe you're actively trading as well. So, hopefully there's something there for. We have a good community as well. So like, remember, even if we miss a question or a topic, we have a lot of great engagement throughout the community here. So like, to get into crypto today, I actually think if we lose this bid, I think it get pretty nasty under 53. It's like 53.5, actually more like 53.6 on IBIT in particular. And one of the reasons I'll say that is if you look at this is like the prior resistance we're chilling at for a while, that 94, it's like 94 to 4, something like that on Bitcoin. If you lose that area today, you could really start to backfill back into the 50 period on the daily, which on IBIT, that'll be 52. So that's a hefty fall, but we haven't broken it yet. So for myself on Bitcoin, it's just a matter of if we can hold it on the 15-minute, then I think you can have, like one of these like little uptrend mornings. Hopefully it doesn't reverse itself. But if we do lose this gap and it's like 53.6, then I'm going to start thinking short. For now, we're over, and this has been bullish. So we're above the 50. We just broke a recent channel. Like, we're still bullish, looking for a bounce off this level. But if we lose it today on a Friday, that's 53.6, then I got to start looking in the other direction for IBIT in particular. And I think on Riot, I said this earlier, this is new news that just sort of hit, and wouldn't have had it on the note, but it is doing a lot of volume. It is looking good. I'm going to sit this one out for the first 5 or 10 minutes, but my style, I'm willing to jump over to something that's moving if it's got a good setup. Like if we're holding above $18 and looking strong after the first 15-minute candle, then I'm probably going to hop over and like this Riot news. Just understand that the Riot news isn't crypto related. So you got to separate those two today. I'll be looking at IBIT for crypto, for Bitcoin moves, and then Riot is just like a separate small cap momentum play is the way I would view it.
Here you go. Talk about the chat right here. Yes, I know NDA. We can speak about XRP right here, and actually I talked about it yesterday as well. So what's up to charged up right there? Yeah, look, I think this does have bullish cases to it, man. The protocol to transfer over money happens in milliseconds right there for very, very few fees. I think XRP does have a spot in everybody's portfolio. This is a double long ETF, and we talked about this yesterday, coming right into this spot there. So I think that if you are looking for it, Ripple XRP isn't around that $2 mark. So lots of upside potential here. But again, a lot of ETFs to sort of, as we say around here, wet your beak with. And I just think this would be another one that we can maybe have a quick look at some point there. XRP, there's Solana ETFs and various different names that you can trade. We always look at Bitcoin because that sort of is the dog that wags the tail, but 95.5, not much going on. Yesterday we got a story where Tom Lee and BMNR, Bitmine, put some money into the broke Mr. Beast, apparently. And all the way, I don't know if you guys heard some of those stories where he's claiming to have absolutely no money in his bank account. But he's worth $2.6 billion. But anyways, that's how a lot of the wealthy make money, right? They don't have their money sitting around. They have it invested. And that's what he's been saying. It's invested in other projects, in his Beast games, and things like that. So he's not walking around with a load of cash, but I don't know how true that is, but anyways, BMNR to the downside. The minute you start talking about we're doing other things other than, the treasury, I'm a little nervous about this stock. But, we'll have to wait to see what it does in and around this $26, $27 mark for BMNR. I think that if you are, and this just, the whole Mr. Beast thing and all this kind of, trusting in on Tom Lee, I almost said Tom Ford, Tom Lee, it's just one of those things where I would rather just hold ETHA or go on chain and buy, the coin itself and not really worry about someone else deciding what they're doing with the cash. That's why like a pure play is IBIT or is ETHA, and you can get the results. The only negative part of it is, of course, you don't have 24-hour trading like you would if you did hold Ethereum at a Coinbase or a Kraken or wherever, or anything that allows you to trade the actual cryptocurrency itself, or the token. So I like all of this, and also with after hours trading, you can now trade these names on Blue Ocean. We saw SLV was the top name the other day on Blue Ocean. We had Jeff Mendel on as well. So yeah, just you know, the crypto's on a nice come up right here. I think Bitcoin breaking 100,000 is that next big level that we all wait for. I do think it pulls back once it hits it, but we only have less than a minute and a half left. So let's go talk about Boeing. We love some Boeing, man. That got me nervous when it broke through 200, but now 200 is well in its rear view.
You could say it's flying.
Yeah, I think
Staring at 250 right in the face right now for Boeing. I mean, 2-year highs on basically every uptick here for Boeing right now. On the back of, I mean, we touched on it a little bit yesterday, this union deal, more details coming out on that this morning, but seems to be just all positive right now.
A lot of good steps, acquiring Spirit Aerosystems to control the quality control there, and now figuring it out with the union. So a union representing about 1,600 workers at Spirit Aerosystems has reached a tentative collective bargaining agreement with Boeing. The agreement follows that $4.7 billion acquisition of Spirit Aerosystems back on the 8th of December, and the labor negotiations had to wait for that acquisition to go through before going ahead and making the deal. So the proposed contract includes a 20% wage increase for certain pools over 5 years. Also, people on promotional salaries will receive about 50% increases annually for the first few years, and there's going to also be additional incentives like a $6,000 ratification bonus and contributions to the 401k. But these concessions, Brendo, address one of Boeing's oh, I didn't even know.
Okay, we were getting a little tight there, guys. Happy Friday. Good luck.
Thank you very much. Opening bell brought to you by Origenics. Shout out to them for sure. Oh, sorry, PDS Biotechnology. I want to give them a big shout out. Right before the open, NVIDIA was a sell. It flipped to it paired off. I didn't actually see it flip to a buy, but it definitely paired off and reversed its move. So back to the upside is NVIDIA. The market is headed higher. The chip name that I have on watch is going to be Intel, to see if it does a run at 50. Oh, to see if it does, it's already at 49.80. Okay, so Intel is almost at that 50 level. Big reversal on Intel at a 52-week high through that $50 level, and it's already flying once again.
It's through 50 again?
It's gone. ASTS is breaking higher as well, so there's no dip buy there. Oh my goodness, yeah, this market's not waiting for anybody. Tesla's absolutely flying. NVIDIA is about to break the high of the day.
Intel broke 50.
All these there's no dip buys to be had this morning. So I guess we'll be a little bit trying to be patient here, but yeah, that one's absolutely flying.
No idea that happened, yeah, with Intel.
Yeah, there was no specific news story here, but it's right into yesterday's morning highs. 50.35, I believe, was that top-ish.
So we wrote down on our sticky note, you can go find it at Trader TV, Sean, that silver was going to be our trade, and we talked about 81, and if it breaks through 81, we're going to get out. Well, I mean, there it goes, man. We averaged it in right there at VWAP. We got some out, and now we just got some out in the 20s again right here, as we'll watch out for SLV dancing around. I'm going to take another fill right here at 50 if we get it, just because it does look like we might have just washed out there right off the open on a big sell. I mean, I know this candle's green, but that was a nice little sell there into the open, and now here it comes screaming right back. Look, man, I said that we would take NVIDIA, on a 190 break, but it looks like that comes right up there and now gets faded right back in for that. That is a surprise about Intel. We had that Intel trade yesterday, and it just didn't. It did basically the same
no
thing.
catalyst.
Right up there and then came right back again. So yeah, NVIDIA on a pullback down. We're just looking at some of these levels. Like if we can come back into 188, we have NVIDIA written down, but we have it a little bit lower at 187. So looking to see there goes silver. So it's a good thing we did cover some back down there. But if we do get a dip buy opportunity, let's try 188 to sort of start the trade there with NVIDIA. And I'm still willing to take the 190 breakout, right, long on that one, because the futures trying to rebound a little bit from yesterday. So, we talked about Rocket Lab going. Let's see if that is a continuation play, trying to break through $100. Yes, wow, okay, $92 to $95 there in a straight line, it seems like. And then there's another one, man, Space Mobile, 110. That could be a spot there, but up another 9%. All right, man, it looks like NVIDIA is going to be the play. AMD, and then we'll go over to see if Neil's doing anything. I mean, what the? Okay, straight to the downside, so a little different here for advanced micro devices.
It's
still like that 188 on NVIDIA.
Like, it's so crazy. Like, the AMD and NVIDIA have just had nothing to do with each other at 9:30 almost every single day. Like, you just have to look at them as different. So ASTS like yesterday, I wasn't here yesterday, but yesterday it did eventually hold the volume weighted average price in here early. So that'll have to be the play. If there's not going to be a dip to fill in the gap, it broke out. The prior high is about here, 109.5. So I just want to see it close holding above the volume weighted average price, almost 10%, up already 10% on this thing. Absolutely nuts. We barely mentioned Boeing. I know it got rushed. But yeah, it's not going to break 250 today based on that open, so it probably doesn't matter. 250, big time breakout potential on Boeing for some fresh highs, but that looks like it's going to have to be in the rear view as well. Intel's starting to come back a little bit. My thing was if it does this and does a fail of the 50 level, that it can be a nice reversion play. So that is actually coming into play as we speak. But getting into ASTS is also going to be part of the plan. So right now, eyeballs on Intel, going to wait for the second candle, maybe to confirm that we're going to actually hold under 50. And then ASTS, absolutely on. I might have to look at Rocket Lab as well, just to see if this one's setting up a little bit better. Because this is not calming down. Yesterday's trade, it consolidated on the dip. This time it's doing anything but consolidation. So shout out to everyone putting names in the chat. I see lots of dollar signs. That alerts me to SMCI moving. Chip strength, yes, but the market is not breaking through the highs, and some of these pullbacks are pretty hefty. Like if a stock like this loses $30, that's a nasty looking topping tail candle. So I'm not chasing any of these early longs just yet. Even Intel, as I said, Intel's now at 49. This was just over $50. This is looking like a false breakout on Intel.
Yeah, that happened yesterday, and we said we would try to short that if and when that happens again. And we
I didn't think it would get there.
When you mentioned $50, I was just looking at other things. I was like, what the heck? We actually talked about that in the pre-market, about how Obi and I tried to catch a little bit from that yesterday. All right, so we did get out of our silver. We'll talk about that in a second. We're not stopped out, but we were able to get some out on the downside there. But Tesla just had a huge move as well to 444, so we have to watch out for that one. And now it's pulling right back into VWAP. I've been caught on this before, but why not try to get this 440 to 441? I mean, it's already showed its sort of colors there by wanting to make those moves up. So now we'll wait to see if we can get a dip buy opportunity for Tesla. I mean, it's pushing VWAP right now. That could be something. I'm still waiting. We put in a request to see if we can get anchored VWAP live on these charts, because then we could maybe anchor it to yesterday's close or something like that, and figure out what the best method of transacting with an anchored VWAP on a
NVIDIA
daily.
190 now.
Yeah, so I have that break. So there it is. So we are now long on NVIDIA as it breaks through 190. Let's give this a breath and see if it wants to work there today. Sometimes we get stopped out a little early when these moves start to happen. But okay, so silver breaks. Okay, it puts me long. I'm just going to offer it out. Silver, good trade, man. I mean, we're going to be green on it. It's just... That's why you cover, when it comes back in and then take a little small hit. That's how you do, we talk about all the time trying to stay green on those plays. But here goes NVIDIA. I didn't get any out on this first initial move. So let's take something out here at 20 if we can get it. And then we'll wait to see if there is a little bit of a moon situation here and there you go, 23s. See if we can get something here upside on NVDA. Now, what's up, Adara?
Keep an eye here on AMC. New York Times reporting that Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos saying that they're going to be keeping 45-day theatrical windows for Warner Brothers movies if the sale goes through. So AMC popping a little bit on this, again, implying that they'll still get some theatrical releases here. Back to you.
Oh, we like theatrical releases.
AMC.
Yeah, I mean, I think the theater can be okay. I mean, I think it's a very, very specific to what movies are released. I mean, it's...
IMAX cleaning everybody's clock.
Yeah, well, we looked at the chart for IMAX. IMAX is still winning into this year, so we'll we can wait on that. But I don't know. Like AMC's been, if we look at the stock, I think the problem with AMC is that it's not investable anymore because it's been diluted so much. So millions, hundreds of millions of shares. I should watch what I'm saying. I should go look it up. But I mean, we remember the story of AMC and.
No, I remember that. I think that's exactly the problem. It's just pure dilution at this point, and the meme stocks are. Why do you need meme stocks when SNDK and Micron and Rocket Labs and ASTS and even the quantum names? Like, that's what's been the thing. So I wouldn't even worry about them. We do have, Vero. That Vero was on the watch list this morning. I forget the name of the firm.
Venus Concept.
91% stake they said they have, which is insane. Vero is it's 100% a halt risk. no questions asked. As a matter of fact, the fact that it hasn't halted even after going like $1.50 here is a little bit surprising. But halt bands, it's a matter of how quickly it does the move, not necessarily how far it moves. So Veru, 400% to the upside. It's a small float to begin with, and 91% owned by a single firm means they can soak. I mean, they have effectively soaked it up. Not they can soak it up, which is completely insane. So be careful. I don't see near the halt bands when I look at my level 2. I just drew it back. 822, it's saying, is the current halt band. I just had to scroll back to be able to get a quick look at it for sure, though. So yeah, Veru is very much going to be in play. Didn't get that curl, unfortunately, in Intel. That was going to cancel my order. If it holds VWAP, that'll be 49.26 or 25 or so. I'll try to short this one off of VWAP if I'm even able to get it at this particular point. Yeah, a little disappointing there. For Intel not to get that fade. It happened really quickly. So first bounce, hold off of the volume weighted average price on ASTS. If it can confirm green, it's going to like it for an ad to play back into the highs. If you're looking at Rocket Lab as well, nearly identical charts. The percentage move might be bigger because of the gap up on ASTS, but right now both of these are identical. So I would suspect if ASTS loses out and you're watching Rocket Lab, it's probably going to lose it as well.
All right, so I'm only out of a third, and that's basically what I wanted to do with NVIDIA there. So I'm out of a third. Now let's see if we can get that next third in and around, and I don't even really want to look at it too much. It was a 30-minute chart here that I was looking at, and it was right into here. 191 is sort of the next level that we'd look at. I mean, it's just an even dollar. We said yesterday we saw NVIDIA move $3 or $4 off the open. Not that I'm expecting that kind of a move here today. That would put us, if we can get 192 on this, like that would be like sort of the top end of this trade is a 192. So if I'm going to try to wait now, I think it's a decent opportunity. I'm actually waiting at 190.75. So sometimes when I say, waiting for 191, I don't mean exactly 191, just somewhere around that level. But we may or may not get there. It's just that's the level there for NVIDIA. And then looking for a stop, I was going to go, 189 break. Because again, like if I'm looking for that dollar on the next piece, then I think it's reasonable to risk that back in. And I just was using the 200 period right there, so it'd actually be 188.80. But as the market matures here into the day, we don't have to worry about that. Because, yeah, it's like as we grow older, as the market grows older every minute, right? So there it goes. So now see, there it goes. Now we're up to one. So anyways, 189 with a dip buy opportunity at 189.40 where VWAP is. So if it does happen to come down, fine. Willing to sit in this trade for a minute and see if it wants to work out there because they got an upgrade from Jefferies, maintains the buy at 275 there, and I think it works. We saw TSM yesterday continue with their awesome report. I mean, all-time highs for TSM. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it dropped $10 yesterday. So no worries there on TSM. But, you did have that huge move. That's the earnings, 327. They reported at 12:30 a.m. our time. So that's we had that action there in Blue Ocean. We had that action overnight, and then it just topped out one more time here at 350. So maybe that is a thing for NVIDIA. Maybe all these names. I mean, you saw Intel. Now NVIDIA's underneath now again. So if you don't have 189, you can get it. Sorry, if you don't have 190, you can get it now. Intel, same fade. Literally exactly the same. Like, Obi and I, we said yesterday, right after this happened, we said, Obi, next time it comes to 50, we should go short using 50-40. And I said, I'm not going long again until it breaks that level. So that would have given you, even if you short 50, you maybe average it in right there. But let's just say you don't. You're short 50 right now with $1 in your pocket. So that's a missed opportunity there for Intel, 100%. And here comes NVIDIA falling back down again. So
I'm mad at myself because I did want that one. It happened obviously very fast. I scalped out of ASTS, but I'm now chasing is probably effectively the right word here because I'm looking for the short under this prior high and under VWAP. And so that's like $1 from the highs. But I have to respect that, hey, that move already happened. You can move on, and that's pretty much all you can do. So look for the short here. Still, Bitcoin's not doing anything. We're still at 95. I looked at Bitcoin. It's exactly where we were at the open, more or less. So we've already scalped once on ASTS. Going to buy the next available dip. What it usually does is a bit of chop for the first 30 minutes, where I'd rather be playing the dip buy and go over and over again. And we have another super chat in here. Lunch 911.
Ooh.
Caught Meta. Thank you. Happy
Meta.
Friday.
Okay.
Hey, there's a name we haven't even. Heck, we didn't talk about many of the Mag 7 names. Good for Meta to not stink today. Oh, it had an update yesterday too. Okay, well I wasn't here yesterday, but Meta. Hey, 2 up days in a row. Oh my goodness.
What?
Meta is up 2 days in a row. All right. Pack it in, everybody. Hug your loved ones, and tell them you love them because it's over. Meta's up 2 days in a row. The stock has absolutely stunk recently, so that's a good thing. Nice little breakout here, but it hasn't really gone anywhere, everybody. Like we're not even back to like the 630 is a pretty key level. If it can punch through that, then we like it even more, for sure. But yeah, good look on Meta. Whatever drew you to this breakout. I think it's still got some room to 630 on the charts. That's for sure. So as you can see, it's going to be a pretty big topping tail candle in Intel. We have 1 minute until the 15-minute closes. So I just want to be short this and looking short at least until the lows at 48. I don't want to chase too far. Right now I'm sitting at VWAP, but I am going to try and get involved in here. Even just to this low, you still have plenty of room to get in. I might have to nibble closer to 49 instead of thinking I can get the quarters here. I like every 25 cents on Intel. It's one of those kind of stocks.
Yeah, I like that trade on Intel because you can use so many shares. It's only a $50 name, but I was actually thinking here, so we're out of silver, so fine, we've talked about that. I wrote down 81 short, and I don't want to, I told you I can be obsessed with this at some point, but breaking through this VWAP isn't a horrible idea to bring this thing back down. I mean, we've seen it hit $80, 79, I mean, we have some 79.60 fills. So there is potential for this name to drop in a little bit right here. So let's wait to see what winds up happening. Potential short set up for me anyways at 80, 70 basically. Some kind of a break on that, okay? So, all right, we did average. Let me take a little piece out here now because we did take another reload there. So that's what we're talking about. Put some monies in the pocket here on a reload. So it came in. We were waiting for VWAP. I'm actually at 189.30s right there. That did not. Actually, sorry, I'm at 189.40. That didn't come in. But let's just take a little piece out there on that reload back there to the upside for NVIDIA and stick with the name for me that has been printing there so far. We don't have, I shouldn't say we, I don't have anything else that's hitting on my sheet right now. We have SoFi.
SoFi's close to the bits.
Yeah, you mentioned it early, and I added it to the note as well, that we liked SoFi down there at 26 even. I don't know if that's going to come through. And just looking at SoFi there's 26, and actually it was more the weekly level that I wrote down on the note. We've come into 26 a couple times this week alone, right down into here. So we're right there right now. With bank stocks sort of starting to get going yesterday, we can check back to see. I'm always looking at JP Morgan because it was the first out the gates, and it was not well received. So we're waiting for a move back end now here on JP Morgan. I'm going to get in it. NVIDIA just stalled again at that exact same high. Why does it not want to break through here?
It does.
I hope it does. 190.30 right there. So I'm going to put another offer up at 190.30 and hopefully take out another 5% or so of this position just because it's not moving well. Right there. It's moving fine, but should have taken that out. It's surprising because the market is all the way down right there. Yeah, Bloom Energy, RCAT. We did see some RCAT love there. Shout out to you guys in the chat. Again, and put your symbols in. We're trying our best to get to all of these. Commodity King there wants RCAT. Sweet wants SMCI. Green Saber wants BE.
Also, Jeff's Brands just halted.
Jeff's Brands?
Yes.
What happened to Jeff these days?
Yeah, our boy in the pool. Who had a very good year this year, I want to say. Jeff Brands halted. The current tap is flat, so 152. $1.52, tap is $1.52 on this one, up 170%. This is one of those low float runners, but the volume's already over 100 million, everybody. Just keep in mind, again, habitual line stepper, right? So this is the daily chart. Look at every single one of these ridiculously parabolic candles to the upside and look what tends to follow it. So get your money and run when you get a chance in these. You've got to be kidding me, Intel. You know that whole thing about following rules and not chasing? Yeah, next time you should just chase. Let's go to the super chat here. What do we have? Thank you very much there from Basilicious. Basilicious? Netflix on an earnings swing trade. Thoughts? Seems oversold. Man, I've been thinking Netflix.
I think it seems oversold.
And we all been thinking Netflix been oversold for a while. And by all of us, I mean most of us. I'm bidding 83 in my personal account for a little bit lower. That's not split adjusted. That sucks. Oh goodness, we have lost the bid. So remember the setup in SoFi I was talking about, that 26, where it's held the entire week? Netflix has been holding 88 for the back half of this week. And you have a chance at a reversal candle here, but it did punch through yesterday's low. So far, I'd be a little bit skittish. Maybe wait for a 15-minute bar to close and hold the 88 level. If it does hold on to 88 today, I think that sets you up pretty well. But 83 is major support. I don't look at earnings. I just look at the levels. Like if I'm long to here, 83 is the key level on the daily chart, and we can be there in a heartbeat on earnings.
All right, everybody, savvy Canadian traders looking to boost their exposure can now tap into the Nasdaq 100 and S&P 500 with Beta Pro 3 times daily levered ETFs featuring built-in FX hedging. This aims to amplify short-term market moves while minimizing the impact of currency swings. Whether you're feeling bullish or bearish, these ETFs are built for active day traders ready to take on the market. Please read the full risk disclosure in the prospectus at betapro.ca before investing. And we'll trade. We talked about XXRP being a levered product as well. Make sure you scan that QR code right in front of you to find out more about their products. And then the TQQs as well, another one. But we talked about RCAT again. What about this break right here? 614. And again, thanks to the chat for bringing this name up to our attention again. 1450 here or so a break. That's where we're at right now. RCAT trying to get going there. What a move it's had from $7 just 2 weeks ago up to 15, looking to take some out. There it goes, Neil. Let's go. Finally, the hot dog cannon is in the building again as we stay disciplined, hopefully, and patient with our NVIDIA trade, man. We're not hitting the keys like a madman. We're sitting here. We're waiting to see if we can get what we want, and that is that 191. So if that can come in, great. The market's falling down in pretty good. We did indicate that we would like a short on the market, and we put down the TQQs. So again, you're talking about a levered product again right now. I feel like it's cold in here right now. That's why I threw on the vest, but maybe that's just me. But here it is on the weekly, right. The TQQs. Just thinking like, that's 55.80. I didn't want to necessarily short yesterday's highs, but we haven't broken through 56, right? We got to 56.40. We had a couple wick tops there, and every single time it was followed by pretty dramatic sell-offs. So if the market can look, if the market gets up here because NVIDIA is mooning, great. We'll probably be out of our NVIDIA, and then we'll be able to short the market. So let's see if it gets back up to there. And what I wrote down on here was just that we didn't see any catalysts. I didn't see any catalysts in this market that was like, oh my God, this market's going to rip today. So let's just see if that does happen. It doesn't look like we're going to get 56s. So maybe we have to wait to see what VWAP's doing, or it's day high right there on the TQQs at 55 change. Adara in the back there. Hi, Adara. How are you doing today? Have we heard from Adara yet? I don't think we have. So what's once? Okay, what's up?
But it's
Adara?
Almost 10 o'clock.
Oh yeah, it's when she came in with the name of somebody there. All right, Boeing, and I was just going to say, because this was a great one. We've liked this name for a very, very long time. I remember just missing right there. I bid 125. When this happened, it went to 128. But anyways, 245 right now. Boeing just really great on the chart, man, especially if you are looking to take, a longer position. We've broken out right now over this 240, and it continues to work out there. So a name in sort of the industrial space where you can get away from like this sort of chip concentration. So a good look there for Boeing.
Defense name.
And I don't even think this is, has it even opened yet? I know that's, oh yeah, there, okay.
Yeah,
of course it's open, it's 950.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, because I thought that was in the pre-market there, but no, that is the opening candle. Just because it's straight to the downside right now. So come on, NVIDIA, man, do your damn thing, man.
We just got a few more super chats. I finally got into SoFi, but it's above VWAP, not the 26 level. So this is like the B trade, not the A trade. Pedro. GTEC, new meme stock, don't lose the train. The train leaving the building.
We've heard GTEC before. What is that name?
We know it's the Greenland. Remember the whole. So these guys.
Yeah, their symbol was something different before. Was that the same name? No, I don't think it was.
No, it's Green Tech. It went meme-ish.
Greenland Technology.
2 days ago. It was Wednesday, right?
Well, why wouldn't this name go crazy?
When it went ham. but the volume is way down on it. So yeah, it was Wednesday when it picked up in volume on Wednesday, and I guess it had a good day yesterday. I wasn't here yesterday, but today, not so much here for G-Tech. Get this one some volume, then it'll be a heck of a lot more exciting, everybody. No issues there. Rocket Labs is going to get $100. All right, let me just move my offer here a little.
So they have nothing to do with Greenland, okay?
No, but it was just pure hype.
Yeah.
It's just pure, like, on the back hype.
They make forklifts. They had drivetrain and transmission systems for industrial trucks.
No, but it picked up in volume 2 days ago, and I remember it came up, and it's like, okay, well.
But that's where, okay, this is Adam James, but the last super chat was just talking about getting on the momentum train.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like, play the meme and called it.
But that's why I showed you the volume on the chart, like literally reverse candle and
come on, NVIDIA.
Not looking very good. So Rocket Labs here did not break $100. It's ASTS. What's interesting? Oh, I got to move my bid. It's not at VWAP anymore. So I'll just cancel that. Right? Gonna try to get VWAP on ASTS for a second salvo. It had one pullback candle, and then that was it. But Rocket Lab also going. Rocket Lab is pulling back, and I said if this doesn't give me a secondary entry, I would pivot to Rocket Lab, and so I would look for Rocket Lab here, maybe the 95 half, or just holding on to the trend. And what I mean by that would be this. Whoops. Draw my little trend line. This is 1, 2. We get like a third test here. A little bit steep, but it's early. So we can hold on to this trend, head back higher. Then I can go for Rocket Lab second time through instead of ASTS, which is already working.
Oh, damn it.
And we just had another super chat.
Yeah, okay.
As well. Throw that one back up there.
We keep them going.
Keep them going. My name is Yef. Oh.
Well, we have a friend named Jeff. So.
We do.
Sean stole Joe's heated vest.
Joe has a heated, no, it's
Joe has a heated, Joe, Shreve has a heated chair.
Who has a heat? There's no heated vests.
No.
Yeah, the chair is heated, but not the vest.
No, and
it's a massage. You get the massage chair, yeah.
Yeah, it's does it actually massage?
No, it's actually not. It's not a massage chair. It's like the thing that goes on the chair.
Yeah. Like, well, he's old, so he has like it's a chiropractor thing. No, I don't think it.
It doesn't.
Does it turn on? I don't know. Maybe it does. Who knows? All right. So yeah, shout out to that. Not stealing of anybody's chairs around here. All right. Well, look, man. NVIDIA went to a 190.45 and now is falling back into VWAP. And I was just like, oh man, because it's really the TQQ or the Nasdaq that. We mentioned it yesterday, right at the close, that today could be a dangerous day for the Nasdaq because of how we ended the day. So here it's coming right back in, man. Right at VWAP right now. I was still okay. I'll take something here, but shoot, we should have. Okay, I'm bidding 53s now. Hopefully we get a little bit there because maybe we won't even get that. Come on, man. Or I'll put bid at 58 now. Oh, too bad. Because I was waiting in the 30s where I thought VWAP was, and we never really adjusted it there, so we should have done that. So we'll take a little bit here and still wait. Now we have a little bit too many, so we're at 189.40. I was going to give it, again, to the 200 period, which is 188.50, but that's going to be too low, not with the NASDAQ doing what it's doing right now. So we do have to be a little patient, I think, with this trade. And, 189 break probably is enough for me. That wick down there is, we can wait for this, but then we might as well wait for that. So I don't know. So this is what I'm doing. Very, very confused here because we just ran the high and then minutes later we're back at VWAP again. That's not something that generally bodes well for a trade here. So, all right, NVIDIA's coming back in. We don't have too many numbers. Some national housing index number coming, I believe, at 10 o'clock. So there, and then in about an hour or so we have the Fed. Go ahead, Adara.
I was going to say also at 10 is Trump. So just be aware of that. He's taking part in, the actual name is really long, but just to shorten it, Rural Investment Roundtable. I think it's like the Great American Health Rural Investment Roundtable, but either way, that's happening at 10.
That's good to know. I know when the president.
What's up? I asked Sean yesterday to go cash long term. Hold on a second here. I'm going to put this in the chat. What do you mean you asked me to go cash? What's up right there? We're not financial advisors or anything like that, so I'd take advice. So you mentioned maybe yesterday to go cash long term. Yeah, look, if you went cash yesterday, then you're missing out on 0.2 today. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm heavily invested. My biggest position is right here. This is in the ES. That's my largest holding. So as long as we're okay on that one, I'm not super concerned about going into cash right now. But, I think if anything, I would probably wait to buy some dips in gold maybe, as opposed to cash. But yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong if you do think it's getting a little frothy right now. The Nasdaq, all the markets are pretty much at all-time highs. I think when you're talking about going into cash, you may want to look at specific individual names, like names that maybe have run their course. Like we had mentioned, Adara
like
chose
if you're in space,
Oracle for a sell idea and things like that, right? Or if you don't like the bank space, and if you're in XLF and you're not happy with the way that has returned, over the last week, maybe you get into cash. But for me, right now, nah, I'm not. I am pretty much fully invested. As I said, I just topped out the investment account for the taxes, and then we're sitting in some cash there, but nothing significant, maybe 2% or 3% cash. So I don't know what I'm doing there. But yeah, see, this is like that whole XLF. And we always use the 50-period moving average as a decent gauge, right? So you're still above. So even in this beat-up sector right now, you're still okay. If anything, I don't mind dip buying, aggressive sectors like the banking sector, like the healthcare technology sector, like or rockets, space mobile, the robotics, sorry, is the word I'm looking for. So yeah, there's a lot of opportunities right now, and but I would say 100% grab some financial advice, because you have to also invest based on your age and based on your cash flow requirements. So and how risky you are. But that's just a little longer term portfolio talk maybe. But
we're losing the bid here. We're going to go to Darren in a quick little second, but we lost the bid on SoFi. Someone asked where my stop was. I said it's just underneath VWAP. So I'm long off VWAP. I'm not going to give it too far past. That was the B trade. The A trade is going to be if it gets down to that 26 level that we're watching from more or less all week. I did get into Intel. All right, well, that's heading toward the low. So yesterday's low is actually 47.85. So the target's underneath 48 on this one. And then I said I'd pivot from ASTS to Rocket Lab, and then that lost VWAP. So Rocket Lab loses the volume weighted average price, whereas ASTS is still way above it, heading back in as we speak. So ASTS still broken out, 15% to the upside already. Going to look for that second opportunity. This is one of those names. I am going to try to still dip by it. It's up 14 points today. They both had catalysts. They had like the better reaction would be the best way to think about it. And we just had that housing index 37 versus 40 consensus. So Intel, if it bounces off yesterday's low, then I guess we'll be out. But that's a huge miss to not have it anywhere up here. Or even the VWAP short. Let's be real.
We're almost, are we going to Adara for that number? Okay, so NVIDIA's moments away from breaking, man. We just broke 189, so I'm just going to give this 10 cents. Unfortunately, can't catch a winner there on the long for NVDA. But let's wait. Look at this market, man, really bleeding out right now. So a stop out imminent right here on NVIDIA. What's up, Adara?
Let's talk here about that number. As mentioned here at 10 a.m., U.S. NAHB housing market index coming in a little bit lower than expected and below the previous print. 37 was the print that we got. The forecast was 40, and the previous print was 39. At 10 a.m., we're also expecting to get comments from U.S. President Trump. He's actually participating in a roundtable. So, of course, I'll cover all of that for you guys. At 10:50 a.m., we get Fed's Collins. Then at 11 a.m. we get Fed's Bowman. So some Fed speak later in the day, but I think generally this Trump speech certainly could be pretty interesting. Let's talk here about the market, which is continuing to drop. Had a pretty interesting day yesterday as well, with a lot of weakness in the market. Banks started the week off to the downside. We know yesterday some day one earnings plays from the likes of Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs, at least temporarily relieving that sector. But guys, we have even more earnings that are going to be coming through next week. Netflix coming up, Intel coming up, so certainly stay tuned. Let's keep an eye here on Micron, which has been a big mover here to the upside, along with all these other memory plays, including SNDK. A lot of them giving up some of that strength recently. Here's SNDK, which has plummeted quite a bit from its pre-market highs. But either way here, these memory stocks remaining strong, with Micron in particular on watch after getting a insider buy from a director here. First insider buy for MU since 2022. Then we have ASTS. Rocket Lab also strong with an upgrade, but ASTS here with a really great catalyst, being awarded a prime contract position on the U.S. Missile Defense Agency's SHIELD program. Before we send you back over to Sean and Neil, we're going to take a moment to thank our friends at Oragenics. Millions of concussions, zero approved therapies. Oragenics, trading on the NYSE as OGEN, is advancing a new standard with its intranasal brain-first approach to concussion treatment. With an $8.9 billion market on the horizon, Origenics is positioned to drive what comes next. So see what's ahead and book a meeting today. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to stay tuned for any Trump-related market moves. And we're going to go back over here to Neil and Sean.
Thank you, Adara. We'll definitely keep our ear to the ground. Of course, having Adara is a pretty big advantage with that regard. So bottoming tail candle happened on Intel. So we got the last part of the move. At least it caught some of it. It is what it is. But this could end up being, there's your bid, and here comes your potential trend reversal to the upside. So, I can prefer it to be a short, but ultimately, if it's going to end up breaking trend here off 48, which it looks like it's going to if this bar can close above, then a reversal, at least until VWAP, will be in play for me. Got to make the move if you can. SoFi lost VWAP, but now it's got higher low written all over it. So until it makes 3 points, I don't care about the trend line. It's got a higher low once. I'm still going to work off the volume weighted average price. So we like SoFi as long as it holds on to 26, which it clearly has. But there's a lot of range to go. Maybe we'll close above VWAP again, and I'll jump right back in at the same price with go for less and maybe give it to the trend line bottom. That seems like the way to go. So I'm just going to use this little forming trend, jump in if it can close above the volume weighted average price. Can I move that? Why can't I pull this over for you guys?
Do we know what
Here we
the,
go.
what the SMCI news was?
I didn't see news specifically for
SMCI
SMCI.
is huge right now. SMCI is up 10%.
I didn't see a story for SMCI, but I think it could just be piggyback off TSM strength.
Yeah, I don't know, because TSM was yesterday's story, but I don't know. I mean, SMCI was up yesterday, but there it goes, man. Huge move right now to the upside for SMCI. We'll stick Adara on them right now and show, I hear you. So Adara will be there in just momentarily to see if there's anything going on. But there goes SMCI. Like, what a rocket ship there to the upside. So, yes, Adara.
I'm not seeing any news, but I am seeing so much social media attention, like tons of tags for it, people just saying, oh, breaking out to the upside. So there's a lot of bullishness. I don't think there's any catalyst as of right now that I'm seeing to really support that.
Okay, so good look, I guess, on SMCI for anybody that's looking over there. But Dell could be another play there if there is something brewing underneath. We've seen SMCI and Dell move together many times, but SMCI right now, good little look there. And thanks to the chat for bringing that up to some of our attention there as SMCI continues to go. We were able to we just took some dip buys there. We like the 200 period, and I don't want to be stubborn about staying in the same names all the time. So, but that does come into the 200 period moving average on your 1 minute chart. So I was just like, let's take a stab. We didn't have as many shares. We had a decent amount of shares the first time, so we'll put an L on the board for NVIDIA right now, but does come back into the 200 period moving average. We buy a little bit there. And then I was waiting for lower, and then waiting for that 188 break, but that's not happening as of yet. So sort of a pause on that one. SoFi 2650 right now, and another super chat. So let's go with that, Andre, and see what's going on right here. Thoughts on DNUT? We had this look yesterday, and we want to thank, I think it was CompuCare. I know it was CompuCare
team.
We can have a look at DNUT. I mean, unless there is a catalyst behind these names, this is done 400,000 shares, of which probably the majority of it was in these dark pools and off the open. So, no, man, I mean, this is dead. So I would just, thanks for coming with this. Oh, what the hell? I just looked. Fannie Mae is, I haven't traded this here today, but I do have it up on my marker.
Someone call Bill Ackman.
Yeah, someone call Bill, man. Your stock is falling out of bed over here right now.
Buddy.
So right down there into 850 again. So again, a good solid housing play here. Fannie Mae getting hit. It was hit yesterday as well. So down that 10%. Would be interesting. I don't think there's an SSR issue with OTC markets, but this will be a good way to check if this goes SSR down 10%. So, but anyways, there goes Fannie Mae downside here. So probably some housing talk with Fannie and Freddie. But there was another name there. Oh, you said Reddit. We'll go to Adara, and then we can come back and have a look at Reddit.
I checked here, FNMA. Specifically, I actually checked the X account here for Bill Pulte, who runs that organization here. But he didn't post anything. The one thing I am seeing is apparently mortgage rates hitting some lows, which could be maybe part of the reason for this. I'll keep looking, though, but I was expecting if there was going to be anything, it would likely be coming from Bill Pulte himself, but there's nothing on that front. Back to you.
Someone in the chat said there it's probably about the fees and everything like that, like how it's credit cards are having to chop maybe down to 10%, maybe mortgages, or I don't know exactly how that all bases out for this kind of a talk there. I don't know as much about Fannie Mae as I probably should have, but
Veru just went again. Vero just broke the highs again.
Right.
Veru used to be like a meme stock as well. So understand if I say Veru, I'm probably talking about Vero, and it's just a slip of the tongue. So another break higher. Hasn't halted once. I still think it's a high risk of a halt, everybody, and sometimes a post-halt trade can be good, but on trend is Vero. And again, the story here, and it's a wild one, I can't remember the last time I saw this, is the story. Madryn Asset Management disclosing a 91% stake in the company. So they've got it all, and obviously if they're not selling, then you have the float soaked up right now, which can be incredibly bullish for sure. SMCI continues to rally. Riot, which we talked about earlier, an AMD partnership, they've held $18. They said I wanted to sit out like the first 15 minute candles just to see if it's going to hold above 18. It is now. So I think the long trend can look good. This is not really a crypto play today. So just keep that in mind. If Bitcoin were to say tank, it might not actually go either, because Bitcoin literally has moved a couple $100 since the open, but Riot up 12% and looking very good. So I'm going to pop in to the next available dip.
Pop into Tesla.
Just get locked and loaded and ready to go if this one dips back in.
I like the Riot talk there.
Tesla?
We had the AMD. I mean, Tesla's just pulling back in.
Yeah.
Don't tell me silver's down, guys. I will. Silver's upside. Okay, so I'll look at that in a minute, but let's talk about Tesla. I was only saying that. So Trump's going to be speaking now at some random event, Adara. I can't remember what you called it, but
it's some kind of bizarrely worded rural investment roundtable. You can find the whole. I posted it on the Trump calendar on X at TTV Research. So you can find it there. It's called the Great Historic Investment in Rural Health Roundtable. That is the official name on the website. So Great Historic Investment in Rural Health.
That is okay. Well, but it's just a horrible name. Like, you only have names like that if they make fantastic acronyms. Otherwise, come on, what are we doing here?
That seems a little silly, but I wonder how much. So I wonder, are you allowed to pay the president to come and speak at your events, or what? It just seems like a random. He's hosting it. Okay, so I was going to say it seems like a random event there. So okay, good on that. We are, why I was long Teslas, I think, is a good question, and it's just, we had a huge move up. I'm trying to think if the Nasdaq bounces. The Nasdaq just bounced off zeros. So it got down to 2570 and bounced. We've seen the Nasdaq have these kind of moves before. So if you're checking out the TQQs, especially into yesterday, where we're coming back into yesterday's sort of levels there, where I think there's a hold down here. We bumped up there yesterday, and just the same reason why I like the short up here is kind of why I like the long down there. I don't see catalysts right now, and that's why I'm interested to hear what conference that is and what the president could possibly be talking about. If it was an automotive conference or something like that, then I don't think I would be let's get into Tesla right now. But just hoping that we can hold some of these bids. That low of 439, that was made right off the open. Then Tesla ripped. So now it's coming back in. Let's see if those buyers can return and defend the levels that they did earlier this morning. So that's just it, man. It tried to come back in, bounced off 440, tried to come in, bounced off VWAP. Then now you get an aggressive move back in with an aggressive futures play. So we're going to sit there and see if we can't put a trade on here on Tesla while using the low of the day as our out. So we'll try to get some more here at 441, which is where my current bid is, right at the 200 period moving average. And we'll see if we can get lucky, sort of like we did there on NVIDIA, by catching a 200 period bid on what is hopefully a strong name in Tesla. So this is what I'm trying. So let's see if it works. We're on the bid right now.
Yeah, just jump back into Intel short pretty much at yesterday's close. So it fills the gap a little bit. So we get a nice little bounce, filling in the gap from the 48 low into yesterday's close level. If it doesn't get to VWAP, that's about the only other place to look to re-energize the short trade. Shoot, I just missed a super chat. Andre, it just popped away when I was going to address it there. If we could. Thank you to Blue Pirates, 18. Do you follow strict silver SL? Once it hit your exit, stop loss. Once you hit your exit or average, do you regret if it bounced back after exit? How do you identify key price level for entry and exit? Well, identifying key price level, support and resistance, You know, like I'll just, for a quick example, I'll show you Intel, right? Like I can see support from yesterday, and then there was mild support 2 days ago, and then a big wick bottom. So for the short, that's where the exit's going to be. But here, when I'm getting in because it's at that prior low, like I'll have a hard stop above this wick, because this wick is kind of the reason why I'm getting in and confirming that I like the level. So I'll have a hard stop, whether it's a couple cents above the wick or at the wick, not a huge difference. But like I won't give this all the way to VWAP, because I can try to short it there again. And if we hold underneath, I'll probably look to only add inside this 48.4 range, but I'll have a hard stop. If I get wicked out, like it wicks this, goes up 1 penny extra, and comes immediately back down, I'd probably jump back in to the trade, but it doesn't mean that I would move my stop. Like I'd rather stop out on a bad, on just like a wick entry or exit, and then just jump back in as opposed to not have a stop in the first place. You know, that's the way I approach things. And it's the same thing on almost all positions. Like if I really like that area and it's a good key support or resistance, I'd rather stop out and take it a second time as opposed to not having a stop. Because what if it blows through and flies from your stop? That's what you're looking to avoid, especially when trading off a key price area.
440 coming in pretty quickly right now for Tesla. But let me ask you guys this. If someone handed you $1.25 million to trade, would your process change or just your upside? That's the opportunity that Funded Future Network provides. They're a futures prop firm that gives traders access to large SIM and live funded accounts every single day. They've already paid millions to traders around the world with fast, same day, I like that, and daily payouts. Right now, evaluation accounts are 50% off. Go over there. Buy one, get one free, and no activation fees. You can find the link below or scan the QR code to check it out. Funded Future Network in play one more time. So yeah, we talk about prop trading. That's what Neil and I are doing right here, right now. So okay, I got some silver there,
Palantir
and yeah, I just heard that in my ear about Palantir. We'll have to have a check on that. But yeah, I'm going to try to go short silver against that high. We had it looks like it is having a little bit of an issue right there. If it does break 81.55, we are gone. And the big issue, I'll let you cover Palantir, but I am right now into Tesla, and if this does break through 439, man, then we're going to get out. So my next dip buy opportunity is at I'm sitting there now at 440 even. If that comes in, then great. Other than that, man, I do not want anything else. So that's what we're going to wait for. And then we're going to give it about a buck lower than that. And then that will be it for what I thought was my friend, Tesla, but 440 coming into play. A nice little trade on NVDA, nice little trade on SLV. It's the Tesla trade right now that's having an issue, and apparently Palantir going southbound.
Palantir just lost the week's support as we speak, so the market is heading lower. Palantir broke the bottom yesterday. Look at this topping tail candle. That's not a good sign. We've had at least all week long, you've been testing breaks of 180, and every single day it failed. Failed yesterday, 180 break, failed the day before, failed the day before that. So this is, I don't think I've seen that very often. We have a failed break at the same price, more or less, every single day. This time you're getting the follow through. So I'd watch out for this on the way back up. If it can't hold above 175, this might end up being one of those like all day kind of short situations there. So watch out, everybody. Nick's asking my thoughts on INOD in the chat. And I've seen, we try to cover as much as we can. Innodata doesn't do volumes. My first thought is if it's not doing volume, it's not really tradable. That said, you are getting on volume a nice little like retrace of the gap. So yeah, it's not bad. You like to see when you get like a bit of a flush, you're bouncing. Technically looks good, untradable as a day trade because the volume's so bad. But technically, like it's broken the downtrend and it just held the 50 period on a heavy dip yesterday's trade. So if you're in it here, then to me, like it didn't stop you out. If you took a trend break trade, then I'd almost be, if I was long this trend break, I would literally just set my stop to underneath the 50 period or the 200 period moving average. Like one of those two looks really good. It's a nice reversal, but you're definitely not day trading that. Way too little volume. And up there, Tesla number one. SMCI going absolutely ham today. And if you don't know what you're seeing in front of you, our stock visualizer, effectively, every time someone in the chat types a symbol in and remembers to use the $ sign in front, then it's going to pop up here. Like if I go dollar signs say Riot. They had news today. Like at some point you'll see Riot drop down. I see SLV. There's Riot, Mara, Tesla, ASML. So lots of names getting thrown around here. And number 2 on that list, we just covered Palantir, which is number 3. Sean's covering Tesla right now. But SMCI is threatening to break the uptrend that it's been in all morning long. So I'm a wait for a reversion kind of person on a move like this. This is just a setup I like. It is breaking the trend as we speak. Uh-oh. Oh, we do have locates. For a second there, I'm like, I didn't pay for locates on this. Do we have free ones? It's free. So it's free to short here at Real Trading. I think we're getting a trend break. I'm going to jump into this. If I can get 32s, give it to the prior bar high, which is actually conveniently enough the high of the day. It's been a rocket ship, but that's just like a standard. Wait till it's doing something different and look for the pullback into view up.
Yeah, Tesla's getting very extended here to the downside. So now we're in a full position for myself, but it looks like this wants to just keep on going down. Oh, yeah. Apparently, President Trump is now talking all about Kevin Hassett. So let's go over to Adara.
Yeah, I was just going to say, literally, as Sean said that, Trump said, oh, Kevin Hassett, Kevin, you were great on TV today. I almost want to keep you where you are, which implies that right now he is now maybe considering, or at least joking about considering not making Hassett the Fed chair. We know Hassett is widely implied to be, if not the favorite, then one of the favorites here for that position. I also want to let you guys know, it looks like X is timed out right now, so people are having issues with X. Looks like a connection issue with Cloudflare once again, so I'll keep you posted on that. But it will impact the dissemination of news. I want to talk here about VERO. This is Venus Concept. On watch here after Madryn Asset Management, as Neil's mentioned a couple times today, reported a 91% stake in the company. Their Madryn Health, so I guess part of this firm, was also involved in a deal with Venus going back to last week. You can find more on this on our Trader TV Live watch list, but VERO here, or VERO, with roughly a 12% short float. Let's talk here about JFBR. Much like VERO, it has rallied in the past. Today, the news is that its subsidiary, Keepzone AI, has signed a distribution agreement with STI to expand Homeland Security solutions in Canada and Mexico. And last but not least, AST Space Mobile. I did mention this name earlier, but it is continuing to rally. I want to mention this one more time here, landing a prime shield slot under the Golden Dome strategy. This is a space play. Other plays in the sector include RKLB. So lots to keep an eye on today. Again, Trump is talking. Currently, he is not, but their group is talking. I think right now it's Brooke Rollins, Agriculture Secretary. If Trump says anything market moving or makes any more comments about Hassett, I'll let you know. Back to you.
We just, thanks, Adara. Yeah, unfortunately, we had to just get smoked there on NVIDIA and on Tesla at the same damn time. Both broke the day's low as the futures just continue to bleed downside right there. So, yeah, can't be proud catching some of those bottoms. But this was fine. It was more like Tesla just kept on going and going and going, and eventually broke that 430. So I went short, but eventually broke our level there of 439. So when you break the low of the day there this early, it's not that early, but okay, here we go.
Still pretty early.
Yeah, let me take out a little bit more down here right now, because here we go. We're finally starting to crack a little bit lower, but we do have this position back, and I told you I can get obsessed with things. And we were just talking about what levels we're comfortable with, and I was saying on silver, it was worth the risk right there against 55s. So we'll take a little bit of profit there as that comes all the way back into view up, and now we'll wait to see if we can make a little bit of money back here on our Tesla trade as we hold on to this short and just see where it goes. Like we talked about the Nasdaq trying to break potentially some of the lows. So this name would be, I would think, a 436. I probably won't be in very many shares by the time it gets to that, but that would sort of be the level if you're looking lower. And I almost want to get back into NVIDIA because I don't feel like that flush was as dramatic, obviously, as the way Tesla moved. And this one still is right at the day's low, so it could be a move back higher here for NVIDIA and potentially the whole market. We're going to stop out of Tesla at 439.50, just sort of at the past level. So if it does come back in, we'll get out of that one. But yeah, right now silver's good, man. Silver's 70 cents in the money and going lower. So that's going to be a good short for me. But other than that, man, that long was wrong. So nothing good there on the NVIDIA long. Let's see what this market wants to do. Oh, too bad, man. My average price on NVIDIA was 188.30 or something when this came in. So too bad. But here goes Tesla. Let's see if it breaks 438. That's the next step.
Well, two things. One, SMCI is still holding around the same price as entry. AMD. Intel double bottomed at 48, so twice it's bounced pretty clean off the 48 level. If it starts making higher lows, I'll just have to wait for a better entry, maybe at VWAP. But Caesar, why don't you guys cover earnings anymore? Well, we've come on, everyone knows that we come on 8 o'clock now, a little bit earlier every single day to give you guys more action and more preparation time. However, during earnings seasons, the really big earnings days, we are gonna have like special earnings shows. So when we've got like, I mean, obviously NVIDIA, but when we get that massive day where it's like Apple and all the Mag 7, we're gonna be there doing those big earnings days. That's gonna be the plan of action. So we'll let you guys know as we head deeper in earnings season what that's gonna look like. But absolutely, during the big earnings names, we do plan on being on. For you guys, for sure. Like that's 100%. It's just we know the ones that are very likely. Like there's NVIDIA Day, and then there's those 2 or 3 where it's just like everyone in the Mag 7 is reporting. It's narrowing down some of the other days where it's going to be exceptional that we'll be there for you guys.
All right, yeah, silver right now going a dollar club hunting right there. So we'll see if we can get, I thought I actually got that, Phil. I guess I did not, at $80.23, but silver making a move. And of course, NVIDIA bounces right off our level there. Let me just bid out and get a little bit of silver right now, just in case it does retrace back to the upside. We did reloaded a little bit there on Tesla for the short, as that's coming right back in as well. We got to take some profit on this. It doesn't seem like it wants to break 438, but hopefully it eventually does. Okay, Adara, I just heard for a call. If we're ready, we can go over and see what Adara's up to.
Yeah, let's talk here about UNA. It's dropping a little bit here, though. It's kind of recovering. Trump talking about health insurance companies, saying he suspects they don't like him because he wants the care to go right to the people and not to the health insurance companies. This is a sentiment he's expressed many times before, but either way here, UNH getting a little bit of a move right now. Back to you.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that's for sure. And then we're also still hearing this stuff about if X is being down, which is weird because mine seems like it's working just fine. So anyways, it doesn't really make that big of a difference, but yeah, mine's okay. So SMCI just continues to hold. I'm not really going to change the plan. I'm not moving my stop in. Sometimes I'll do that if I think it's too strong.
Silver?
But I'm still just going to give it to the highs and then play out to that volume weighted average price. Look for my entry if I can get it in Intel. We're starting to pop back up. I am looking to stay short this name, but it's got to give me a shot on a pop to get back in. Like I want that 1% move, so it needs to get at least past that 48.3 level. I don't want to be shorting this bottom here on INTC. And someone just said silver can drop 30% at any time.
I think so too.
I think if you're swinging it,
I don't think at any time.
30%, that's right back into the 50-period moving average. On any trend that's this parabolic, it's never impossible. Never impossible. What is not moving 30% at a time, which can, is Bitcoin. But this is now looking pretty distinct on Bitcoin. Lower lows, lower highs, under the volume weighted average price. Looks like that breakdown is going to be possible. The breakdown I'm talking about is this little gap fill. First to 53.6, and then if it loses that, you're talking like that prior level of like 94.5. If we lose that today, I think it could get a little bit nasty here for, I'm looking at IBIT, but you know I mean Bitcoin.
I mean, you want to talk about getting nasty and sick with it right here. I would show you Twitter, but I think, like, for me, it's not going through right now. But silver is my number one trade on the sticky note today. So there it is, man. We are now $1.50 in the money on SLV. So boom, goes the dynamite there. So that was a good one there for silver. And yeah, I'm trying to get it all posted up here. Maybe.
No, now mine isn't working.
Yeah, exactly. But okay, so we did get a nice move down in Tesla there. Tesla absolutely puked all over itself. So that's going to turn out to be a decent trade. We'll make our money back there. We will not make our money back in NVIDIA, though. That goes up to 188 and change, and now hitting lows again. I'm going to stay away from that and just focus on watching to see what winds up happening here with TSLA. And we said 436. I'm going to get in another piece right here. We did say 436s. Like, this is why I'm zooming out and doing the work for everybody, or for myself, and showing you guys this as well, because we said that where would Tesla eventually potentially stop at? And sure, it goes, I got out at 436, well, I don't know what the fill was, 436.40s there, so almost the low of the day, but it still does have breaking potential. I mean, that real low, that's 435. So I think that would be maybe something to wait for, and then if you're waiting for an extreme extension of the move, then yeah, you need to obviously break that 435. So I'll put another bid near 436 lows, because the thing is like when this thing snaps, it snaps. So let's snap it off to the downside. So let's see if that can go right now. But wow, man, this is really continuing now, man. The move down in silver is real. We're getting right back to that area that we had covered in the past. So just on that same note, let's just put a bid right here. And then, okay, we'll take a 50 fill, fine. And now we'll wait to see if we can get even lower than that, as silver right there, well traded to the downside. My P&L number one is SLV there today. My P&L number one on the other side is NVDA. Got absolutely smoked on that move down. We'll see if we can catch another bid in this name. I don't know if we're going to be buying it. Did Intel break 48 yet?
It did.
Okay.
It's
right
wicked
here.
a couple. Oh my goodness. One more time, I will try to hit enter, and then it'll come up. There we go.
Wow.
No, it's wicked a couple of times through that 48, but I still maintain like 47, 80, 85 or so is yesterday's support level. It's not really bouncing as high as it was before, so I might have to try to jump in a little bit lower on the next reload. Someone was saying, SMCI is going to go. Look, I'm in the trend reversion. I know the setup. If it can break the high, then I'm out, or it pulls back into the volume weighted average price. It's binary, man. Like this is just how it goes. And for the longs, yeah, sure, it's bull flagging. Next leg might be up, but this is just a setup that I like. So I want to be in this one. Intel might have gotten away from us, unfortunately. But IBIT, never fear, this looks like it is going to hold. So I'm going to treat this just like Intel and go for the short the pops. The market is looking relatively weak today. We just went red on the Nasdaq. We've been red on the ES as well. Pretty much everything going. I just heard gold in my ear to go along with silver, like Sean's showing you guys to the downside. So pretty much everything is looking weak. So that extension that we're looking for in IBIT, I think can come into play. Not much is looking strong. Yalla Studio has one.
Oh, good.
Trade idea long term. Ferrari off to the races in Ferrari. Long term, a 1 week chart. All right, let me just, here, it's a weekly chart, then I want to go up to E-Signal if I can. Whoops. Do I have Europe on this one? I don't even know. Oh, I do. Okay, I don't even know if I have Intelligence. Oh boy, the 200, yeah, the only downside is it's breaking the 200 as we speak. On the weekly chart, it's actually threatening to close underneath. I usually like it after it bounces off the 200 period, not when it's plowing through it. So I think it's at a pretty key level. Personally, I always like to hold off when it's in a downtrend for a little more confirmation on that kind of a time frame. Like if it can hold this next week, then that's when I'm looking for the long. But again, it's just about your setup, right? Like some people probably would have been long the bull flag on SMCI. And sometimes you're right, and if it makes another leg up, as long as you can make the trade work for you, fine. So we just got to VWAP on SMCI. I'm going to wait for the next. If we bounce off the volume weighted average price, I'm just going to move my stop. I'll trail it probably to this 31.8, like this bar here, and see if it can fill in more of the gap.
So here's the call right here. I mean, we have silver short 81. It's written down on our sticky note. We said it looks like the short was going to be there today as long as we stay under VWAP, so on and so forth. We like that silver short. So we had talked about that on the note. We posted up at 8:30 or whatever, and there's the short right there, 81. We didn't spend too much time above it, man. We got as high as 81.50, but there's the drop down. I am very light right now, almost out of everything silver related. So, you know, if it does pop back up into VWAP, we'll re-engage in that short, but that was obviously well traded and not much more I can do with that. And then, you know, losing all that money there on Tesla and then eventually flipping into the double short, that was great. So now you could see as this market, I think has more, like I can't just sit here and be long. When yesterday I called Free Fall Friday, obviously Neil wasn't here, but we had said as the market went out near the lows, and I had written down Nasdaq short, we just never got that initial bump really in the Nasdaq to fill that out. But yeah, just another cover down there at 436. We said that could be sort of the stopping zone there. So we got another 40 fill right there and a bunch out right at 437. So out of all the shares that we have about a third left of this position right now. So thinking about possibly getting out if and when we wind up breaking the that's a 21 period moving average. I'm honestly not going to give it all the way to the 50 period. So I'm thinking that's a decent spot there, maybe 439 if we do get going. 439 potential area for me to work with on Tesla. So that's what we're waiting for, and then hopefully we do get more of a downside push. And wow, silver is absolutely now puking all over itself, man. No, it's not a bull. It's sorry, it's a that was a bear, right? It is a bear right there as silver just continues to puke all over itself. Nice downside action in SLV right now, and we called it, so that was a good one. We're happy with that. We lost yesterday going short, not really there today. So yeah, downside. Let's keep going on Tesla and see how long we can hold that one for, and go over to the desk to hear what Adair is all about.
Keep an eye on Eli Lilly here. U.S. President Donald Trump just mentioned them in an anecdote, and as you can see, we briefly made day's highs before pulling back, basically saying that a top executive at Eli Lilly, not naming the person, though of course it could be CEO David Ricks, tried to defend why the company at the time, again, like other companies prior to these deals that Trump has been signing, basically making them more expensive in the U.S., right, the drugs compared to the U.K. So he basically said, I don't know why these companies are doing this. Again, this is an older anecdote, but the stock doing some kind of reaction, so just be aware, Trump is discussing Eli Lilly right now. He also previously mentioned Wegovy of Novo Nordisk, but not much of a move on that one. Back to you.
Novo's breaking out right now, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, so it filled in some of the gap. Novo had a positive, they did have a positive catalyst this morning. You can find it in the watch list. Shout out to Adara for throwing it on here. Up 5.5%. So if you're looking for strength, it's probably in like Vero or Novo or something small cap related. The rocket names have been going pretty hard to the upside as well. But this is breaking, not breaking the pre-market highs, just sort of breaking the opening range high on Novo Nordisk. Everything else is headed downside. But as SMCI is starting to go, or continuing to go down, oddly enough, Intel's trying to bounce. So hopefully this will allow me to get back in on trend. Just a little higher, like Lando says. I want the quarters if they can give it to me. Just a little higher, but it doesn't want to do it, unfortunately. So just gonna be patient with it. As far as SMCI goes for a target, it's broken through VWAP. So now I wanna look for this gap fill. It'll be like 31, just pull back into prior high. Like if I was looking for a long, that's the place I'd be thinking about a bounce. So if you're in a short, I sort of think like reverse the action. If I was flat, where would I be looking to buy? And then that would be the answer to where my next target is going to be, trying to get to 31. So that pullback, actually, no, get out when it pulls back into prior high is the plan.
All right, yeah. I'm still in these same names, so we can look for somewhere else.
Remember High Roller?
Yeah,
Roller?
Yeah, it was up yesterday.
I see some people mentioning it. This is, hey, congratulations if you stuck with this one. I don't think I would have. As parabolic as it went 2 days ago. I wasn't here yesterday, but look at how well it held some of this gap range. And then it's doing the same thing. Like it's holding well above the $20 level. So 20 or 19 support and trying to break back out. So the squeeze might not be dead here. Just remember, the support for 2 days has been 18, 19, 20s. So buying it up here is crazy, but a hold, I hate to say it, is not looking too bad. They haven't dropped an offering yet. That's the only thing that always gives me concern. As good as it looks holding on low volume, if they say the word offering, you're pretty much done. So always trade with a stop. I don't know if they filed or not. Like remember, when it comes to a stock offering, you have to file for it, and there's a process to it. But it's like if you already have, and then the stock goes ham for a couple of days, and the company can just drop one at any time. So if you're swinging any small cappers, you have to be aware of this. And again, we always say this: no one ever went broke taking profit. You can't get caught when one of those does an offering if you've already grabbed profits. That's all.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And as we say, like you always zoom out and see where potentially there could be dropping an offering and what that level looks like. I'm going to go short Micron on this break. I know it's up there, but it's bouncing off this 200 period. We've tried to break through 55 there a couple times. If we do it right now, especially with this market now really bleeding down, I'm going to try the short and then just even just give it like $1 basically back to the upside. So we're getting ready for that. We're now $3. We're $5 in the money, man. We're $2 on SLV, and we just got 36 flat there. Well, we got 36.15s on Tesla. So, I thought we were just into Micron there. We're not. Now it's starting to bounce out. So that was a good trade, I think, to be able to get some out. We did get some out at 37 when it broke higher, and then we got a 36. So basically an average fill of 50 right there. Now that we're bouncing a little bit, I'll put another bid at 50 to take it out. And then now we'll see my next bid is at 435.50. And we've already zoomed out on Tesla and sort of showed you that, that 435 could be the area that we wind up stopping around. So if that breaks there, then we go back to the beginning of the month. That's January 8th right there. And we got as low as 433. Yeah. So, I mean, there's those, I don't know if that wick is real down to 430, but that would be nice if that happens today, especially if I'm still short. But yeah, 435 or so, my next area of concern there for your boy Tesla. And then Micron is the next trade for me. So that's coming close, but look at the spread, right? So you gotta, you know what? I'm actually going to lower my shares on that one because, yeah, the spread is a little bit too juicy for me, but we are getting...
Like SNDK spread's $1 most of the time.
Yeah, so we'll go half of what we thought, so maybe like a half a unit trade there or so on Micron, and just that will give us a little bit more room on this trade. So I just like to see the breakdown of this. I mean, there is some size there at 55. I don't know where the slippage is going to land, and what slippage is like, okay, now it's bouncing, but you want to go short 55 break, but I only offered it down to 75. So if we get more than 25 cents worth of slippage, we won't get filled on the initial push down, okay? So will the Nasdaq bounce from here? I think that's a good question that I'm asking myself. And, you know, here's a 30-minute chart on the Nasdaq, on the Qs, and, you know, looking like there's potential to break lower. I mean, we had said that where's the bouncing spot going to be? I think you can get a little bit lower, maybe into 619, which isn't too far away right now. But, you know, you're at a level now, if you're short and you've really taken advantage of this, it's not the end of the world to think about covering, you know, if you're into the futures or something that's moved like that. There we go. So now we're into Micron. It does, see what I'm saying? It does break. Or does it break? We get 355.01s right there. So it must have broke, but we got a price above where we thought we wanted the price. So if that does take out 356, we can get out now. I think it's worth a shot here. 356, so we'll give this about $1 literally, and then we'll punch out if that breaks, okay? Let's get out to 75%. I don't know. Micron's a $350 name. This could easily rip back to the upside, then tank again. So the fake break kind of move right now for Micron. But here we go.
It's funny you said that.
Nice little move back down in.
You were saying that about like the level in the future.
Yeah.
Well, it coincidentally, people might have seen this. I actually got out of the SMCI short pretty much at that moment.
Boom.
It could be a coincidence because it filled the gap, but there was a topping tail candle that I might have potentially turned around in. So it did this bottoming tail right in front of the level we liked, so I threw my trail or moved my trail down. Again, this is just a mean reversion trade. So this trend break, you know, there's this bar confirmed it. Let me zoom in for you guys. That's better, right? So like this bar confirms that we're closing underneath the trend and not just kind of, you know, testing it. And then when it broke that prior bar, so this is a confirmation, it breaks this one, I jump in, I throw the stop at the high, scale into out at VWAP, and then move the trail when it filled in the gap. So looking for the next opportunity. It's been one of those types of days, like ASTS worked, and Intel worked, and SMCI worked, but like SoFi didn't, and Rocket Lab didn't. So it's like, yeah, it's like, okay, we got, but I'm just looking at Intel that I did not get back into, and I missed it on that 50 reversion. So we're just going to have to wait for the next chance to get into this one short, hunt for that next opportunity as we go to Adara at the desk.
As probably expected here, there is a lot of weakness in this market, but maybe not as much as you might expect because there are some sectors holding up quite well. Producer manufacturing, once again, having a great day. LRCX, AMAT, and GEV all to the upside. GE Vernova up 5.5%. Then we have finance with a lot of strength as well. JP Morgan continuing to rebound from its earnings day one weakness. And then we have electronic technology, Micron, up more than 5% with its first insider buy since 2022. AMD also strong here along with Broadcom and Honeywell. I know Honeywell got an upgrade this morning, so good look there. In terms of weakness, tech services not faring nearly as well as electronic technology. AppLovin with, I believe what it is, its third straight red day, down 4% right now. We also have Google to the downside and Palantir down almost 3%. Retail trade a little bit weak here. Amazon red, as is CVS. Transportation being led here by some weakness in DoorDash down 2.5%. Health services to the downside, consumer services to the downside. So basically, if you're not looking at industrial or manufacturing name or a select semiconductor, probably not doing too well today, guys. Back to you.
Oh, wait a minute. Got to do it.
Thank you very much, Dara.
Wait, I didn't hear it. Oh, no. I don't know if you guys heard the thank you very much, Adara. Okay. I don't usually hear those in my ear as well, but as long as you guys heard it, then it's going to be all good. Obviously, SMCI continues to go lower, but stick to the rules and trail out. There might be more of a gap to fill. Let's just see how it responds if it bounces into the volume-weighted average price. At least that's what I'll be looking for. So for now, I'm going to go right back over to, did not get in yet, to IBIT. Just going to cancel that. That's why we're trading SMCI, but we did miss that higher low on IBIT. And we're just going to join trend back in. That's what's worked. SMCI short Intel. That's where the bread is going to get buttered today. So I'll keep that going with IBIT. Maybe have a look at Riot. Riot had the AMD news, so it has the potential to at least do its own thing and not necessarily follow what's going on in Bitcoin. It's at VWAP, but unless this kind of breaks back above the volume-weighted average price, that doesn't look like a long entry either. So sit on the hands. I feel like as choppy as it was early for some of the longs, you make what you make, and then move on to that next opportunity. It is a little bit late to be forcing things for entry points. So SMCI bouncing. We'll look for maybe a re-entry at VWAP. As I said, next available pop on IBIT as well. We're right at that 94.5.
We got our 435 50s. We got 435 60s there on Tesla. So, if this market, as we just heard, the S&P continuing to go lower as well as the Nasdaq. So both indexes right now almost look identical today. So there is selling, broadly in this market. All right, so just, you might be looking and saying, well, Micron's going against. We just got stopped out. So, okay, Micron is going against. We got out of some at 50 there, and then we lost there as it approaches the 200 period moving average. You short a strong name and you're in for it. So that's why we lowered our default and not even, just a dip, a blip, I guess, in the pain trade there. So I think now with that last little bit, we can hold it. I don't think it's going to really hurt the net here, depending on how far exactly this rips up. But looks like we can hit a fail there, and we only got. The market's bouncing a little bit. You can see how aggressive this is. So we only got a little piece out there at exactly at 50s. So I think it was 55. But we'll hold a little bit to see if it does wind up coming back in. Still short here at 55. So out $1 on that one, in $3 on Tesla. And I was just about to tell you, and then we went to Micron. We did get that level there. Broadcom, XOM moving, I guess. 130, I think, is a level to look at there for XOM. We did get as high as 130 there, then the fade, and now the pullback into VWAP. That could be a good one. What's barcoding right here is Eli Lilly. That's looking like it's trying to figure out what to do on the day.
Barcoding's not bad.
Now it's not doing a whole heck of a lot now for Eli. So right into there. Wow, it's already 10:45. Oh my. VWAP there breaking lower might be a trade there for them, but they've already gotten hit. They were down 5 or 6% the other day. I think it was yesterday, and I think it was a downgrade. There was some sort of story with Eli Lilly yesterday. We were like, what? Why was that down so much? It kind of caught us all by surprise there. Do you remember what it was, Adara?
Sorry, what? Stop.
Eli Lilly. Remember yesterday we brought Eli Lilly to you and it was down 5.5%, and we were like, what's going on with that? I think
there was some kind of antitrust lawsuit.
Oh, that's what it was, antitrust lawsuit. Right. So, that wound up hitting Eli Lilly yesterday. So, but now today up another 0.4. So we'll see if that can rally backside there for
Oddly,
Eli.
never the worst thing in the world to get antitrust. Because think
once
of it
it's settled, it's good, right?
Yeah. Well, I just always look at it like, okay, well, on some level, that just means you're the king.
Yeah.
Like if you don't have at least some regulators sniffing around or some lawsuits with regard to that, then maybe you aren't the biggest and the baddest in your specific market. And I don't think we need to be told that, but let's be real. We do like them. And we just had another note here. Someone in the chat just said they're not releasing weight loss, their oral until after Q2. I think the more important thing with their oral versus Novo's is that the process by which they manufacture it it will be cheaper. That's the idea. At least that's what's supposed to be, according to what I've read, and that gives them a little bit of an advantage, even if they're going to be second. So that's good. And then there's also the possibility, there's some studies saying you can go back and forth between Novo's and Lilly's which is good for the entire group, actually, when you think about it. But yeah, I still like Eli Lilly a little bit better. As good as Novo's chart looks. And Riot is now trying to both break the trend and bounce off VWAP at the same time. So if it can hold above the, I mean, it's right now it would technically be breaking this downtrend, but it's still under VWAP. So I'd want it to actually close above VWAP. Not just that, I want a candle to close above VWAP, then go long and give it to this bottom here on Riot. AMD partnership is going to be the story here for Riot.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, so like I got one post out for X, and now it seems to be cranky again. So yeah, nice move there. We told you we are flat on silver, so I am still looking to get short again against that level, but it's going to have to come all the way back up. So we'll have to wait to see if that is in the cards or not for silver again before we actually enter into a trade. All right, so, you know, some nuclear names, some names that I know are widely held in the chat. That's bounced off the 200 period moving average for SMR, so not a horrible play there. If anybody's looking at some SMR in the uranium space as well as Oklo, could catch a little bit of a bid at some point near that $100 mark. So we got to 97 and then fell down pretty nicely there for Oklo. So not a good move there. I really liked Starbucks, man. I mean, we've been not only obviously do I like the product, but the stock has looked really good, and there's the breakout on Starbucks, basically from this 87 level all the way to the upside there. It was a great dip buy opportunity. I mean, this kind of reminds me a little bit of Intel, where it was just taking a long time to sort of try to break out, and you're getting ready. The breakout's really, for the long term, isn't really here yet, but just for now, we did touch 97 yesterday, so that was a good level there to maybe get out of some of your trade if you were long down in the low 80s, but this is sort of what you're looking for Starbucks to see if we can break that out right now. So Micron, we still have about a quarter of that position. We told you where we stopped out. Upside there, and then it looks like I just took some more bids here on Tesla, as that's looking like it wants to come down. And we talked about QBTS earlier. This is another trade, $29 for QBTS. That's fallen back in as well into the day's low. So there are some opportunities here that if you're looking to pick up stock on the daily, this is not a bad level on a day trade. Sorry, this is not a bad level for QBTS, using 28 sort of as the low in case we do get a bump. But there it is, man. The market's now coming in pretty good here, Neil. There goes Tesla back into the day's low again for TSLA. Let's go. Let's see if we can break this, man. We're at 355. I am going to put something at 355 again, just in case, and then we'll see if we can hold the rest of this name. We still got a decent spot on, man. We still got on about 20% of this trade, so still happy with the movement there. Now $3.50 in the money on this trade, $1 out on Micron and $1.50 in on silver. All right, Adair, it's $10.50. I know the dollar was sort of going higher there on some positive Hassett talk, so let's go to Adair and figure out what's going on with Forex and money talks.
Yeah, this U.S. dollar is still pumping here, Sean. We have not yet eclipsed yesterday's highs. In fact, we're actually trading the exact same range. But again, as I mentioned yesterday, we broke out of that 99.20 area area of resistance, and we just want to keep going higher. So great look here for that U.S. dollar as we continue to churn higher. We do have some economic data next week that I want to talk about as well, just to kind of prepare everyone. It is a holiday shortened week, but that does not mean there's any shortage of opportunities. Looks like on Tuesday at 10 a.m. we might get that Supreme Court opinion on tariffs. If we don't get it, that will be the third straight time that we get some kind of indication we might get announcement and then we don't get anything. So keep an eye. Potentially at 10 a.m. we could get that announcement here on tariffs. I'm also seeing it potentially on Wednesday as well. So it looks like potentially sometimes next week. Then also here later in the week, we are, I believe, expected to get GDP and then the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment. So next week, it is holiday shortened, but there still will be economic data to be aware of. Again, USD strong. Let's see if we can continue this and end the week on a high note for that dollar. Back to you.
Farm Trader, I want to put that one on screen. I can't.
What's a Farm Trader?
Where'd it go?
Can you find it? I can probably look.
If you can get it, I just.
Oh, no,
I missed it.
I'm not that close to it.
Adam Jones had Rocket in there. Oh, goodness. There it is.
Come on, Micron.
Selected, and it worked.
Ooh.
So we have a method where we can put things on the chart as well. So in front, so Farm Trader, the best you've ever had. You the best. Anyways, Congrats, Farm Trader, for sure. Let's know what you guys were trading, or what you were trading. Probably to the south side, I'm going to guess. Unless you were literally long, I don't know, the space names. What else was up? Vero, Riot. Like, what's even strong right now? Nothing. So probably to the short side, but let us know. Riot did break trend, held VWAP, but look, if you look at this trend down, this trend break right here at 18.5. So this was a higher term trend break earlier. I'm going to look for the bounce to get to about 18.50 here for sure. I'm trying not to like chuckle.
Yeah, Brendan's throwing down some knowledge back over there. I hear about that.
We can hear Brendan over there in front of us, dropping some knowledge.
Yeah, he's trying to drop a little bit of knowledge. We're trying to drop some knowledge here on Micron's head. We did go short. We're waiting for 357 to break right there, and we did cover some at 355 and change. So we're short at 356.40s now, and we just did get some covers right into here. I don't know what Micron's obviously going to do, but we do have our out at 357. So we're going to take a little one-to-one action right now on Micron and understand that this name is hot fire, and if the market does bounce back to the upside, then this is a name to definitely be worried about. 357 is my out there for Micron, and hoping that we do get some dip opportunities and able to cover this one, hopefully back at 354.50, where we did our first little group out there. So, okay, we're back into Micron right there. Now with Tesla, we did get another bid. We talked about this potentially breaking through. So let's put 437 right now as a target out for us. We did have 439. 437. We'll do the same kind of thing here and get out if it does break. Let's try to get out of how many shares we have. Okay, let's get out of 50% right now, as we still do have some exposure to Tesla. We said we had about 20%, but then we got covered. So now we have about 15% left. Look, yesterday was meatballs, and they were kind of bad. So let's figure out what today.
I can't make this up. I had we did meatballs last night for dinner. I didn't even.
Okay, well yours wins, so don't worry about
that.
that.
I don't know. They were, ours were okay.
No, these were bad. Okay, so January.
They were that bad?
Yeah, I don't have a problem telling people.
Screw up meatball. Whatever.
You can't? Okay. Then I should have saved some for you. All right. Today.
Can't really screw that.
Not bad. Chinese flag. Okay. So we'll take it right there. Today, we haven't had beef all week. And today's a beef kind of day. We have Chinese black peppercorn beef with vegetable stir-fried rice, and of course a salad. So we'll try it. The beef is, when you're doing mass orders, sometimes beef can get a little bit hard to cook, but we'll wait to see what that is today. Chinese black, it could just be black peppercorn beef, but Chinese black peppercorn beef with vegetable stir-fry and some stir-fried rice. I don't think they'll.
Last week's poker night had some really good General Tao.
Yeah, well, when you order from, that's from a Chinese place. Or no, he made it, didn't he?
No, he didn't make it. He ended up ordering.
Oh, he ended up ordering it. So that's what I'm saying. So
he does. The trader in question, who we were poker night last week, he can throw down.
But he didn't cook, you said.
No, he didn't cook. He ended up ordering. But I'll never forget. He was the first profitable trader we had on our floor, one of the two. And there was one day, 20-year-old kid, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to bring in food." And so we thought, whatever, he's going to come in, order a bunch of food for everyone for lunch, and he walks in with just trays that he made the night before. And it was out of control how good it was.
Yeah, it was good, eh?
Hidden talent, but he did not make food for us that day. He just ordered for poker night. In a few minutes, we're going to have Obi-Wan Kenobi with Sharif, who was there a second ago.
When Obi gets his mic on, I'm going to ask him about the meatballs, because he had them yesterday. I just want to see the opinion. Or
it's not that I'm doubting you. It's just...
No, it's not. I know. I always want to know people's opinions.
How can you screw up meatballs?
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
How do you screw up meatballs?
Easily. It's just processed. It's not, the flavoring is not the greatest. Adara, did you have the meatballs yesterday or what? Where's Adara at? Where's Adara at?
She's hard at work right now. Look at, she's focused.
Sorry, I can't hear with Trump. Hello?
What did you think of the meatballs yesterday?
Oh, I didn't touch them. I can't do the sauce. I have a thing with certain red sauces where I can eat a lot of pizza for that reason, because it's just I just know if it's happening that it's just not going to go well. But so I did not have the meatballs, and I'm sorry I can't hear you. I have the Trump is trumping currently.
Trump is trumping. Okay, well that's Trump is trumping trumps everything.
Vero is veroing, which means it's up 550%. I'll do the obligatory. Where can it go? At this point. All you have is this 14-wick high and psychologically $10. So Vero is going absolutely nonsensical to the upside. Parabolic is not even the term when you're past like a couple of 100 percentage points. It's a weird story, but it does mean they've soaked this one up. I was going to pay for locates in case something crazy happened, but my guess is they have not calmed down. I thought the price was a little pricey earlier. My guess is it's going to be exorbitant now that it's going absolutely ham. Let us know what else you guys are watching here today. Finally got into Riot because like there's nothing terrible. It was looking terribly bullish, but a little trend break on Riot. I want to play it back into 18.5 because I don't like that this was a trend break here to VWAP. So I think if you go head and shoulders, I'd look to duck out of that one for sure. Most of the market is trying to put a bounce in, which could get me back into Intel on a. You know Intel stinks when this is the Nasdaq. Look at this bounce in the Nasdaq off of the lows. So I'm like, yeah, we can short the pop on Intel. Oh wait, Intel didn't even bounce. Intel, when Intel's a short, it's a short. And it's like a real short, but it just has not given me a solid re-entry. Backing off a key price. I like the prior close, I like 48, I like VWAP, and it's giving me none of those three things right now.
A minute and a bit left, everyone. Thank you so much. Hit the like, subscribe, and all of that. So you guys know that our Tesla out is going to be happening at 4:37. At least half of our position out there, if that does come in. I am debating, grabbing our Nasdaq a little short here to see if that winds up coming into play now, because you are back to the 50-period moving average. But in what has been a pretty downward moment here for the market, I could see us trying to make a bid back through VWAP. So that would be something that you'd have to take a little bit lighter of a position and see if you can wait for a VWAP take, because we're nowhere near any kind of levels that I'm normally interested in. That would be the 200-period moving averages. So that's on the 5-minute marker. You got to get all the way back to 54.60s, 54.50s or so. So you're about 50 cents away from that. And then right there now, a move back to VWAP would also make sense for me there. So we'll see if there is any sort of actionable trades on the futures for you. Again, almost out of this, and silver just holding it, waiting to actually get a little bit more on silver here if it does come back up into these levels. So we'll wait to see if silver does print us in and around there. So those are my positions right now, silver and Tesla, and then potentially NVIDIA did have a nice little move there. I'd like to go long NVIDIA, but again, the futures are going to hold that trade. So we'll just wait. Fed's Bowman now speaking, Trump going, lots of stuff could happen, and you're going to be in good hands with Sharif and Obi. So we'll say shout out to those guys, and it's 11 o'clock now.
We'll be getting some, we'll see how the beef goes, and we'll let you guys know probably when I do the lesson. I'll have tasted some, but you got to treat. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah. It is Sharif the professor, especially at those small caps. We wish Joe all the best in his recovery. Surgery went well. So we'll be back at 2 o'clock.
Yes.
But for now, it's the midday time, boys.
Ciao.
Girls.